advantage to their mid lane heroes. I think it's a great strategy. The camps that are close by, Earthshaker can easily roam to the off lane, go top lane if he needs some help there. But if he can effectively stack some of those camps for Shadow Fiend, give some early gold, just try to prop him up and support him as much as possible that way. We'll see some cogs coming out here, and I think Annihilate will want to get some of those early Necromastery stacks before he gets to the lane like they did yesterday.
Of course.
Get some easy last hits mid. I do see Annihilate looking like the stronger mid laner here, but Leo style, of course, will have some survivability with the refractions. It's a toss-up at this point. It'll come down to those fissures from the Earthshaker, and of course, Sand King. He's picked up his boots already, so I think he's going to be looking for an early opportunity to create a window for them to get some early kills in the lane phase.
It really is a toss-up, right? Usually the Shadow Fiend would lose that mid matchup. TA against Shadow Fiend is just quite heavily favored for the TA. But thanks to those 15 or so starting souls, depends if they're gonna go for 12 or 15. Really, we'll see how, aggressive they want to be before the time starts.
It is going to use up the mana pool from Dota the 2. That he's going to have to get back to the lane. He picked up a mango, but we'll see.
Usually you do it in a fountain, and then you only do one power cogs, which is only 50 mana. He should be alright in that regard. Of course, it's still a little bit of a situation where it just kind of slows down your early game, and this is not something we see in regular games, where you and me play. It's only something we really see at like the super top level and in competitive, where teams will actually see this Clockwork Shadow Fiend combo and then use that to set up early ganks on those heroes, because they'll be coming into the lanes so much later. And that is quite relevant. Not unpausing quite yet. Well, you're almost ready to go though, so should be starting in just a sec. So let's go and just let's do some predictions. Predictions are fun. Who do you think is gonna win?
I think early on, I think Thunder is gonna have that early advantage. They do have a significant number of stuns. The fissure will be helpful in the mid lane, so I feel like Thunder is gonna have a strong impact early. But I feel like in the end, I feel like we'll have a better strong team fight, as that Legion is not going to be able to get as many duels off. I feel like Wheel are very well prepared to handle that. So I think I'm going to have to go for Wheel on this one. Their team, their hero selections are very much favorable to a stronger team fight. Their carries look like they can hit significantly harder later game, and not just in single engagements, quick one-offs, but I mean overall. I mean, the Shadow Fiend is going to get out of control. Gyrocopter certainly can hit hard later on, and plenty of zoning mechanics. But that high ground defense from Earthshaker is certainly a good way for them to fortify later on if Thunder decides to, if they manage to take down those towers. So all signs are pointing towards Wheel for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like we'll just... If we look at what the Radiant is trying to do here, right? They've got the TA, she wants to jump in and do some... They've got the Timbersaw, he wants to be agile and run around, but going up against Earthshaker and Clockwork, those two will zone you out so easily. It's gonna interrupt the entire fight. Usually you would expect to win the mid lane, but again, this is gonna be pretty even. And then late game, well, Gyrocopter will simply out-carry a Timbersaw, and Shadow Fiend can easily keep up with a Templar Assassin. So essentially, Thunder really needs to push an early advantage and end this game quickly if they want to stand a chance here. I believe they have the possibility for that, but in the end, there's still an edge for Wheel here. They're definitely the favorites in my opinion as well. Well, we're still waiting for the pause then.
Looks like he got back in there.
Yeah.
That's good to know. But this game is going to determine how Game 2 will certainly play out. I'm going to... I've got a really good feeling we'll see some respect bans. As Wheel, they do shine.
If the Shadow Fiend does well,
in the mid lane.
If the Shadow Fiend does well, there's a 0% chance they'll let this combo slide again. They're either gonna pick up one part of it, or they're gonna ban out. They're probably gonna like ban out Shadow in the second phase or something like that. But yeah, there's going to be a response, of course. But I think also I'm really looking forward to seeing what this Gyrocopter builds. So usually Gyrocopters, you know, they used to build Helm of the Dominator, some early stats, you know, you get yourself essentially Yasha or something like that. These days, of course, the Dragon Lance kind of takes up that spot. And then you go for just BKB, and, you know, later on you upgrade the Dominator to Satanic and that kind of stuff. Problem is, Helm of the Dominator isn't really viable in the same sense anymore. Also, Gyrocopter now has a really interesting Aghanim effect. And that Aghanim is something that we have seen more and more of recently. I really like it. It is an effect that has not... So the problem with Aghanims, and this is why I believe we don't see that much Aghanims, it's not very visible how much of an impact it has. Gyrocopter doesn't have a huge attack animation. His projectile is very small and very fast, difficult to see. And, you know, like in the middle of a fight, you're usually just kicking anyway. Like, you hardly notice those additional shots coming out. But once you pick up something like Lightnings, you really notice, oh wow, these are proccing quite often. And this is actually an item build that I personally really like. I think going for Aghanims into Lightnings, and then probably, what is it called again? The Heaven's Halberd is actually just a brilliant item build in terms of like early damage output, pushing ability, and a huge amount of survivability. And this is another thing about Aghanims on Gyrocopter. It just makes him really, really difficult to kill. The hero also has some nice talents for that. He's got 225 health at level 10, 15% magic resistance at level 15. He can be really difficult to take down. So he turns into this flying tank that can just take a huge beating while dishing out as much in return. It's just a full attack. No. It is a regular attack. It's as if Gyrocopter had attack. So if he has lifesteal, he lifesteals. If he has a Sange, there's a chance he procs a Sange. If he has lightnings, he can shoot lightnings with it. Every single effect Gyrocopter has can trigger off that Cycler, which is why it's so powerful. It's actually really funny. If you have a Gyrocopter with a Satanic and Aghanims, he can just sit there, get perma-stunned. If he at any point activates a Satanic, the Cycler will just continue to heal him up and make him basically unkillable. It's also, by the way, I know I talk a lot about like really weird strategies that I like. This is not one of them. This is something we have seen in competitive, and it has slowly been growing. Gyrocopter was considered to be really terrible. Like, I'm not even gonna use a different word for it, right? Like, people considered him to just be a bad hero. But then slowly people started figuring out, you know what? This Aghanims is actually working pretty well, and he's been getting picked up not just in professional level tournaments, but also in premium level tournaments. You know, at the international, I saw a team run around with that Gyrocopter with Aghanims, and it's actually just incredibly impactful. And something brilliant in that game was that Gyrocopter went for Aghanims, and then grabbed himself that Heaven's Halberd, and then later disassembled the Heaven's Halberd into a Butterfly and Sanctioned Yasha, which I thought was just absolutely brilliant. Heaven's Halberd is also going to be great this game because TA just has, like if TA is taken out of the fight, then the Radiant side does not deal physical damage anymore, and she'll be disabled forever by Heaven's Halberd. Yeah.
From, you know, falling victim to some of those large, big team fight spells. I mean, that even if they lock down Gyrocopter, that if he picks up Aghanims, that side gunner, like you were saying earlier, it's going to keep firing off. And so if he has that lifesteal, He'll be able to maintain himself in those large engagements.
So we've got the souls being farmed up on Shadow Fiend, as you would expect here. Nothing too crazy going on. Again, really the only like big interesting thing here is how many souls will he actually end up going for, right? It's going to be 12, 15, or I've even seen people go for 18. Although that is just really a lot. Seems it's probably going to be 12, but that's usually enough, right? 12 is the most intuitive approach, but it tends to be fine. Or maybe they do want those 15. Yeah, alright, seems going to be the 15.
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah, gotta,
if they can.
Gotta make him big, gotta make him big.
Yeah, I mean, the last suits are far easier. And why not? Let's just take full advantage of that. Give him an opportunity to get a 1-up on Templar Assassin.
He really needs it too. Like, again, this mid lane is so difficult if you do not have that starting advantage. Like, it is really, really bad. I know I keep mentioning it, but I just want to make it absolutely clear. This is a horrible matchup. So, he needs that starting advantage. But he does have it, right? So, we'll see how that plays out. With these souls, I do think it is definitely doable for either side. Got the Earthshaker already finding a rune, by the way. Gonna go ahead and throw out the Fisher, blocking in the Crepes. And it seems this Gyrocopter is actually gonna be left in the offlane. Both teams going for more of an aggressive offlane here, so it's actually gonna be Smash in, a protected position with the Sand King and Visage being around. But Wheel, they know what's going on. And they're gonna go ahead and make sure that it's just a Clockwork up here, even if it's not the biggest problem. Oh, nice dodge. That was well done. Oh, mid lane, by the way, Leo style.
Impressive blocking. They lock him in on the Fissure. He gets trapped by Earthshaker trying to flee. The timing of that play was spectacular.
Yeah, they went ahead and got themselves that first blood in their mid lane. And this is exactly what they need. Now the Shadow King is different. Yeah. Position.
Already sitting at level 2 in Leo style. You deal with that enemy creep wave just punishing him.
Yeah.
So there's certainly a small setback, but you know it's still too early to tell.
Well, something I really want to point out is because this is always really surprising, I guess. I don't know, confusing a little bit as well. People look at Shadow Fiend's denies and they're just like, oh my god, he's got 15 denies already. Actually, power cogs. 12 of those are power cogs. So he's actually only got 4 of them, which is still a solid amount, but it's not as crazy. Bottom lane, he's actually going to be that Gyrocopter against Timbersaw though. So I think this is what something Thunder wanted to avoid. But we are on the next Yomi level already. Seeing, no. We know what you're going for. We're going to go ahead and make sure our Gyrocopter actually gets the matchup he wants. Meantime, Leo style gonna be jumped again. He's got the Shadow Word on him. A Fisher comes out as well. Refraction is available, but it's, I don't know, gonna protect him a little bit, but that's really not actually gonna keep him entirely safe. In the meantime, they jump around. Earthshaker ends up dropping I Annihilate. Gets a few right clicks in, but not gonna be able to actually secure a kill. So in the end, the Radiant side coming out ahead. They managed to sneak in a kill on the Earthshaker, but do also leave Leo Star in a pretty bad spot. Not actually able to go into the lane right now.
Yeah, the Soul Assumption hit hard for almost 538 damage punching him. Well, in combination with the Burrow Strike, so really only 412. But having a good read on what's going to happen mid lane, it's important for MGod to switch out from stacking these camps and getting there. So he's able to read. He doesn't want Templar Assassin to take any unnecessary ganking that's going to happen. So it was good that he was able to leave it until the bottom lane. Looks like Van could be in trouble.
Van going to be jumped right here. This is exactly what I talked about. It's just a rocket barrage. It doesn't care about your reactive armor. It's magic damage and it's a lot of it. He does manage to escape. Derp was trying to go for a block into the trade, but Timbersaw can cut his way out of there, and then those illusions actually ended up slowing down KVH a little bit. But in the end, that was still a very unlikely kill. I Annihilate, taking quite a bit of damage in the mid lane. He is going to be fine. This early on, the Soul Assumption doesn't quite deal as much damage as it can later, even at most. be 205 here. We've got the sacking. Sneaking in. He doesn't know the Shadow Fiend is right around the corner. I Annihilate very low, but finally gets a ceiling self. So gonna be able to recover back to full. And you can see both teams are really, they're investing a lot into this mid lane. They are making sure that their hero wins. Although right now it's definitely...
Yeah, it's a close between the two. CS count for Shadow Fiend and TA. A couple of last hits between the two of them. But what's interesting to note is Van. Let me check and just to make sure that he hasn't yet. But yeah, he's managed to stay alive despite this added pressure from bottom lane. And I would say that 16 last hits and having, you know, Warlock and Gyrocopter pounding on him this whole time is not too bad. That's still impressive despite the odds.
He's definitely doing quite fine. The advantage of having Timbersaw, this hero just does not take damage, right? He's able to sit in this lane and just get his last hits. Another important thing to note is that Smash is actually getting a lot of farm as well, keeping up with the Shadow Fiend. All around, I feel like basically every lane is kind of going the way that both teams want them to, right? They all had an idea, they all had a plan. Smash is getting the money he wants. We've got the Timbersaw getting the money he wants. TA, of course, Shadow Fiend and TA are still fighting over who's gonna end up winning this lane, but at this point actually Shadow Fiend is gonna start disregarding the TA and just nuking down the creep wave every opportunity he gets. Which is, by the way, I just want to point this out. So you're playing Shadow Fiend a lot, right? Here, this is my piece of advice to you. Shadow Fiend as a hero really shouldn't spend too much time in the mid lane. Once he gets past levels 5, you can already start nuking down the creeps. But really, once you're level 7 and you have the max level 2, don't spend time in the mid lane anymore. You want to double nuke the creep wave and then go do something else. That's one of the beautiful things about the hero. This is why usually a Shadow Fiend gets so far ahead so quickly. Because he can
rapidly takes out the camps in the jungle. It would be a great opportunity to move through the map, take out camps, because he's hitting so hard anyway. And the level 3 raises, it's an easy wipe of the camps. So you're absolutely right. It's a great point.
Yeah, it's not just about the camps in the jungle as well. It's also about the creeps in the mid lane. This is really like the cool thing. Usually when a hero goes into the jungle, you know, they spend time there, that they're missing out on creeps in the mid, or whatever lane they're in. They are slowing down their farm in one aspect to then be able to farm in a different aspect. Shadow Fiend doesn't need to do that though. Shadow Fiend can just instantly kill the creep wave and then go into the jungle and then nuke down a camp there and then go back into the mid lane. The only thing that's restricting him is his mana pool. So as long as you can manage to keep your mana high enough, you would basically have infinite money, or infinite farming ability, I suppose. Again, this is why the hero tends to get ahead so much. And also this is why I Annihilate at this point will actually be mostly safe. You can see he just nukes down a creep wave and immediately leaves. He just goes somewhere else. He's not going to spend time in this mid lane because he doesn't need to. And also because it's not that safe. In the meantime, we've got Smash dying up at the top. Taken down. A little bit unfortunate right there. Seems he actually died to just the clockwork. No, Urshik was dead.
Yeah, it was a good fissure. Locked him in place. Clockwork was able to finish him off with the help of Battery Assault, and then finishing with Rocket Flare. Can't get away from Clockwork, at least not this early.
Yeah, the hero also just Battery Assault does massive damage actually. Like if you just it does 1280 damage if you get all of the ticks on one unit. That's pretty crazy if you think about it that way. Smash, he does have the duel available now, getting early phase boots as well, so he really wants to make sure he gets as many duel opportunities as possible. Trying to snowball here. Dagger up next, which is nothing surprising, right? Like, it's a Bleaching Commander. We'll probably see Flint Dagger and Light Mail. If she gets quite a bit ahead, I would actually like to see an Agonist. We haven't had too much of it. But it's actually quite strong these days. Like, a really interesting one can make it difficult to interact with the Bleaching Commander, which is interesting. Anyway, we've got some Ancient being stacked and being farmed. I Annihilate, grabbing himself his threats now, which is really important. That allows him a lot more, like allows him to manage his mana a lot more efficiently, and also just continue to expand it.
Oh, speaking of spam, it's making me a little hungry over here.
Okay, well, that's not what I had in mind.
Random pork products. Don't even know if it's pork. That's not sure. But it could be in trouble.
Yeah, that's not the objective. Good pick up. We do have a good link of Derp, and they do manage to catch both the Visage and the Timbersaw. Flanking will be able to escape, but good turnaround right there. I mean, losing the Gyrocopter is still unfortunate, but they killed in return. It's definitely something that Wheel is gonna be okay with. Right? Not the dream, but also Shadow Fiend working towards his Dragon Lance. Pretty standard, nice strong item. Gonna be really good here. I would actually also like to see just a straight Hurricane Pike. It's not something I'm usually too much in favor of, but he is going up against the Timbersaw, going up against the Legion Commander, and TA also has quite massive skill. Sometimes just having a little bit of skill.
And the net worth still in control for Thunder and XP as well. And so their tempo seems to be very much on par. Or Wheel, rather. They're still able to keep up fairly well, despite this early lead that they have in the economy.
Nope.
Unsure if they'll be able to hold on to that one, though. Legion Commander getting caught up top, forcing Timber into having to spend some time taking out the stack camps. Now with Timbersaw joining up top, that gives a signal to Gyrocopter, and maybe have to get ready to move into the lane. And Earthshaker
oh, we've got a jump on Annihilate. He's taking a lot of damage, but Dota the 2 is here. He's gonna try to turn it up. Turn it around.
A great Echo Slam, clearing them out completely. But was both dying simultaneously, just as he casually walks in. No Blink Dagger, but a great finish nonetheless.
Yeah. Great use of that ultimate right there. And that's definitely going to put him closer to that Blink there. But they managed to turn that around quite nicely. Shadow Fiend surviving. That's actually crazy. So low on HP, but that is great awareness from Annihilate there, right? He knew he couldn't run. His best way to get out of is to kill them before they kill him. So he's just going to go in and do exactly that. So, what do you think our TA needs to do here? She hasn't been too effective, she's just been farming up a lot. But, you know, TA can definitely get out of hand.
Well, they managed to get the tower down. If there's any indication that they have an open window, that they can continue to push these early towers. Shadow Fiend, as strong as he is, he does have a lot of last hits. He's managed to already pick up the Dragonlance and give himself some good base damage. I mean, he's almost hitting for 200 now on his auto attacks. Leo Style could just continue to keep hitting these ancient camps. They're stacked up really well, and Sand King and Visage, they really put a lot of effort into making sure that TA can capitalize on that. So, buying themselves some time, not the best option. I would like to see them try to make a considered effort to get some early team fights before the Earthshaker gets his Blink Dagger. Try to push them these tier ones.
Definitely an important time, right? You can use the Earthshaker not having that tool yet to apply pressure in a much more aggressive way, since you don't need to body stage. Stunned for 7 years now. And they're gonna go ahead and actually do exactly that. Smash pushing down the top tower, Ban simply tanking it. But he's got 20 stacks of reactive armor, he can tank it for quite a while here. We're gonna go ahead and scout out the top area as well, but there's nothing. So the push continues. Derp.
Yeah.
He's just sitting around. He's getting ready for a fight. Like, not quite level 6 yet, but hey, After those creeps show up and die, I should be in. That's a really important mark for that Warlock, of course. Getting that golem going, the chaotic offering dropping out of the sky. That's a lot of damage. Sadly, the creeps aren't actually dying. Thunder is still having a timber sword tank. The creeps are being used as additional DPS. Ricky is now here. He puts down a missile. Getting an early point into that. It's actually kind of nice. Look, that seems like it. Yep, there's nobody here to kill it. That's actually kind of a problem for Thunder here. They actually have nobody to kill that missile. I mean, TA doesn't have enough range to consistently do it. Melee heroes can. Visage is the best option, but Visage usually has hardly any attacks. Blink Dagger now available though. So we actually have some items coming online. We've got KVH working on the Aghanim's, as we can see. We've got Mad picking up a Blink Dagger. We have the Weight of Discord being worked on by Dota 2. And I actually like seeing this. There's nobody else on the Dire side that would really get a Weight of Discord. But the Weight of Discord is very powerful for them. Weird little situation, right? We have Shadow Fiend, he does a lot of magic damage, but he doesn't want to buy a Weight of Discord. Same for the Gyrocopter, he does a lot of magic damage, but he needs other items. So who's gonna get it? Well, Warlock would probably be ideal, but he doesn't have the money for it. Gotta be the Clockwork then. And so Dota 2 does exactly that. He is towards the Weight of Discord at this point. It's gonna be really strong here, actually. You have a lot of magic damage on the Dice. Right? The push in the mid, in the meantime, Delphine is gonna be taking down this tower. He does nice.
290.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now he's over. But they're starting to move together. They're getting prepared. Pushing is going to require a concerted effort. They're going to have to get nice and close. They feel confident now that the Blink Dagger is available. Earthshaker is able to get in there. The Clockwork can hook shot and help zone out enemy players. A Gyrocopter, of course, he's got call down at any moment's notice. A Warlock as well. This is the part of the game where if Wheel continues to move together as a team, it's going to be very difficult for Thunder to deal with this, and they'll have to resort to split push.
At the moment, they've got the Sand King working towards the Blink Dagger as well, putting the tank close. I always get so scared whenever I see it. Yeah, because I have seen so many players just lose their items while doing this. And it's such a huge setback. But he's gonna just go ahead and get rather close to finishing up the Blink Dagger. That's actually a really big mark as well. So the supports are starting to get their items too. Got the Bloodstone available on the Timber Zone. It's been a pretty calm game, I would say. You know, both teams kind of making sure they have the money they want to. And funny enough, I mean, the network lead is below 1,000. It's a very close match in that regard. Both teams just arming up. I think that's actually going to work out for Wheel, but I feel like what Thunder is setting up for is for a big timing push, right? They want to get the items they need on the TA. They want to make sure that everybody else has some big core stuff. Then they'll probably go for Roshan and gotta push them.
Yeah, they could. They do have smokes available if they do want to coordinate something. Continue this split element. Visage up top. It's still getting battered by the rocket flares that are shooting up there to try to slow down that momentum on the tier 2 tower up there. If they can continue this, though, in this 4-1 arrangement, stay close together, use the smoke, get around and prepare for that defense up on the tier 2, they would set themselves up for an opportunity, or just buy themselves some time so TA can take this Roshan.
There's definitely gonna go ahead and start working on this. Although, scout it out.
Well, what a great read. This Clockwork's got fantastic map awareness.
Oh, cool, gonna be going
but he grabs him.
Ooh, that is dead close. That turns it around though, but in the reverse turnaround, the Sand King coming in with the epicenter. Ricky now trying to maybe get C to kill, but will not be able to do so. In the end, TA ends up dying, so does the Legion Commander. So that's 2 cores down for the Radiant side.
Unreal how Sand King was able to avoid taking barely any damage in that engagement and was able to sneak in and take out the Earthshaker on the escape. So kudos to him.
Oh, we've got a haste rune on the Shadow Fiend actually. He wants C2 King.
Not getting away. Oh, maybe.
But the Shrine, and actually may be able to turn it around, but no, Order the 2 is here. He's got a word to say about this one. He gets banned. And with the Rattle Trap, oh my god, the Shadow Fiend ultimate gonna be blasted on top of the Blade Mail. He kills himself. Clockwork gonna be going down too. They get the retaliation. They do actually manage to take down both those heroes.
So it looks like the dual victory went to Legion Commander on that one. Shadow Fiend managed to die. The Blade Mail on Legion was able to return a lot of that the Requiem damage that was being thrown out there. So it was a little misread, but you know, it wasn't a bad situation. It's not going to devastate Wheel on this one. But Thunder, very much, it's going to be a morale boost for them.
Yeah, that is definitely a good one. And it's not only good because, you know, we got off. He opens up the account. Shadow Fiend being dead, that makes it very difficult to be able to fight. They're going to go ahead and come in anyway, though. First strike, connects on one, but duel on KBH. He's gonna be going down. The PA finishes him off really quick. They're gonna try and chase down the Shadow Fiend. Bit of damage in already. Rather faster. Has a Mantis down. So he's looking like he's gonna be able to escape. In the meantime, they do manage to catch the other 2 though. 4 o'clock, not able to fight you know, that entire team really. Like he was going up against a lot of heroes. And so in the end, yeah, we are just taking a fight they shouldn't have.
Shadow Fiend's lost a lot of his stats in these last 2 engagements, using Requiem a couple of times, also dying. And so he's going to have to get those back up, but the ultimate's on cooldown. Thunder saw an opening, and they knew they could punish real full.
That was a risky fight. They knew that, and it didn't pay off. And that kind of puts them at a disadvantage. Because now they're going up against a team that is really in the position they want to be in. Like, this was the plan all along for Thunder. Go ahead and get ourselves that early Roshan, get our core items going, and then we just kill them. And he is getting really close to a BKB. We've got a Legion Commander working on hers as well, and old Timbersaw is starting to look really scary on top of that. He is tanky. And after a certain while, a Timbersaw can become almost unkillable, which tends to be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, he will certainly look for the backline. He'll be able to jump in on Warlock. The Warlock doesn't want to use a Chaotic Offering just on the Timbersaw alone. So he'll get in panic mode. He'll want to run. He'll want to throw the gun on himself.
They find KBH. The Burrow Strike connects. Not on the tooth. It's here and they turn it around. Bob comes out. Here's a lot of damage. We've got Mad as well dropping that big ultimate smash. Doesn't manage to finish off the duel. Annihilate still alive. We're gonna try and maybe get Leo Star, but Van is still in the middle of this. Annihilate's so low. He is so low and he goes down. Mad tries to TP, cancels it. He knows he's not gonna make it. Maybe he can get one last attack in on Smash, but that won't be happening today. So in the end, the Gyrocopter manages to survive, but the rest of his team still pays for it.
Yeah, on that engagement, even though they lost 2-2 on each side, I will say that Thunder out-damaged Wheel on that engagement, despite just the incredible effort that came into Fissure, just the Echo Slam, pull down. I mean, they really they used everything that they had, but somehow Thunder was still hitting them harder.
Yeah, they're just really tanky. That's one of the things they've got going. And that's especially like Timbers on us. He can just take some hits, right? And then with that, deal a lot of damage and just take him down. And you can see that the Gyrocopter finished up his Agnes. He's now working towards BKB. That's gonna make it so he doesn't actually deal that much damage. He won't be able to take these heroes down. Like, he's protecting himself. But sometimes you gotta go for something a little bit more risky than that. rocket flare coming down, but that power is probably gonna drop anyway. Iron Annihilate is here. It's risky for him to be here, but seems he's gonna end up being fine. Oh, by the way, just to avoid any confusion, about 5 years ago, a friend of mine started calling Warlocks Bomb. And he kept doing that until everybody that I know only kept calling that golem Bob. And in my head, that golem has no other name other than Bob. For no good reason. So whenever I need to like...
Why not?
But it's a good name, it works. It works. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Just like your admiration for Ned.
Oh,
Big Blake. Called out.
Oh, they could go in and actually duel up the Earthshaker. None of the two is here to try and prevent this from happening, but it's just not enough. And now they're gonna even lose Derp for it. Warlock goes down. Leo Style jumps forward. He wants Ricky. The Gyrocopter taking a lot of damage. Oh man, that Saw Blade slows him down a little bit. The Burrow Strike connects. Siege King going for the double. Doesn't quite manage to get dab on it. Still 4 kills. 4-3. No return at all. Nothing bad happening to Thunder.
This is panic mode for Wheel.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
have the team, they have the superior team fight, but they keep getting caught in these situations where one or two of their players are out of position. With Thunder just moving in and rolling over those opportunities, and that momentum is getting built up. And lane, the Requiem was going to go out, and he misses it entirely. But that
doesn't even matter.
Significant. No.
He's stuck here. He's stuck here. Can't do it. He's gonna very, very slowly go down. Leo Star no coming in. Oh, yep, there he goes. Legion Commander wanted that duel. They don't give it to her. It's actually a little bit, I guess, suboptimal. Not very good giving her that damage, but with that, the duel is still up for the next fight, and Shadowking is dead. Whreck is dead. Yeah, they do manage to get the Sand King, but why would Thunders care? How is... They do not need to care about that whatsoever. They're just gonna go ahead and push. The Desolator's online. The tank is ready. They've got the bird stealing damage. Pull down, comes out. And actually, we've got the duel on KBH, and he's dead. That's a Legion Commander for you with the Blade Kit. So you simply cannot tankers. And this is going exactly how Thunder could have hoped for. Like, this is best case scenario. They're just gonna go ahead, take down those barracks right here, and honestly I wouldn't be too surprised to see it.
Well, Weed's definitely persistent. They're trying to do their best.
Yeah,
gotta keep things going here.
It was just a bunch
at
of...
least it's worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was just a
I think
bunch
Bob
of
is the
bad
favorite.
decisions, wasn't it? Like, I feel like Wheels could very well just still be in this game with the same draft. They don't really need to change anything there. If they just didn't go fight while the Shadow Fiend was still dead.
Yeah, those mistakes like that can really shift the game so far that it's almost impossible to be able to recover on that one. Sure enough, you know, you do like that you can cast a lot of really big spells, and you know you can really punish your enemy team if they get too close. But man, the Timbersaw now with 19 stacks on his Bloodstone, he's getting to the point where hitting him with anything other than, you know, burst damage, it's going to have very little effect on him.
Oh yeah, he's just so powerful. Even picking up a Shiva's Guard, right? He is unkillable. Well, actually not quite. I'm not going to quite say that yet. If he buys a pipe right now, which is what he should be buying, which I'm sure he's going to actually blink that. It's more aggressive. I can see that. That seems very reasonable, actually. But if he goes for like a, you know, a hood or just straight pipe, they just unkillable. Oh, they're gonna jump by Annihilate. There's gonna be another duel victory for Smash. The cooldown as well, but it's just not enough. Leo Star cutting through the dire sign. The other the two is trying to fight. They surrender. The GG is called. The dire side concedes, as they should. It's just too much at this point.
Certainly that their strategy had fallen through. Wheel, they had an opportunity. The team looked good. Our predictions, we were going for Wheel on this one. We thought that, you know, certainly that their late game was going to be a major factor.
Radiant team ban.
Are you here? All right, we're going to be starting out with just us then. That seems reasonable enough. They did go into the second game quite quickly, quicker than would be usual. But anyway, we'll see how this works out. The Shadow Fiend Clockwork combination not being as effective as you would expect. Although, admittedly, I have to say the Shadow Fiend was actually doing really well up until the point where Whreck just, made some really poor decisions. And I think that's what lost him the game. It wasn't the draft at all. It was just decision-making towards the mid-stages of the match. Got a Night Stalker being banned out as well as Puck. Everybody make sure that international prediction for most banned hero is that Night Stalker, because I have not seen him not banned ever. Like, he's always banned all the time.
10 seconds.
It's completely ridiculous. So, go ahead and make sure you have that going on. But Puck being banned out as well, nothing too crazy there. I'm wondering if Whreck while whistling feels there was a problem with the draft, or if they just made some, if they agree with me and they just made some poor decisions here. It's really like one of those things where it just comes down to, do we want to change something up, or do we think, hey, can we do it with a draft like this? Do we just need to play a little bit better? Well, it's going to be a second ban for Thunder Awaken here. This is probably going to be something along the lines of, yep, Dalkunka again. We saw that in the first match as well. Definitely a respect ban. Whreck while whistling. It's a team that likes to use Kunka, and so just getting rid of him is generally a good idea. Darkseer coming out. Strong offlaner, strong hero in general. Always able to do a lot. Like, Darkseer is just one of those heroes that will be powerful in any team, in any situation. It is so difficult to slow him down because he's got Surge. Well, not quite. Hello, Pete.
Hello again. Game 2 begins.
Yes.
So Thunder Awaken versus Wheel. This is exciting. They get to wrap up Season 5 for KOD League. Thunder, their Game 1 caught me by surprise. Wheel also, their performance, there was a lot very underperforming from what I've seen them do before. There were lots of mistakes that were happening on their end of the map, and Thunder did a great job at spotting those out. Finding, when Shadow Fiend was down, the rest of the team, they really turned the tides after that engagement. The rest of them wanted to try to take a fight with Thunder, and that TA and the Timbersaw were glad to oblige. And so, we didn't see any respect bans quite yet from heroes that they picked from our previous game, but sure enough, we're going to see it Sand King again, and so...
Sand King's just one of those picks where he's so incredibly solid. Like, he doesn't give anything away. It's just a smart hero to grab early, right? And usually that's what the first picking stage is all about. I just go ahead and get ourselves heroes that are safe, that we know how to play, and that are powerful, and then we can later on decide what we do with those. Now,
and I'm curious if Thunder's going to go and take the Clockwork for themselves this time.
Yeah,
I mean, both teams love the Clockwork pickup.
Yeah,
and so I'm really curious to see if they're like, you know what, we're not going to ban what you guys picked last game, Wheel. We're just going to pick them. We're just going to play them. We're just going to show you that we can do those better.
Actually, I mean, I imagine in Thunder Awaken, they went into that last game telling themselves, you know what, we can deal with Shadow Fiend Clockwork. And so they did. And they won. So I'm sure right now they care even less about giving them those heroes, right? They are just not really intimidated by that. Picking up an Ancient Apparition. Interesting choice. A strong hero, of course. Not somebody we see picked up all that often. Although it's actually kind of surprisingly nice against Darkseer, because Darkseer buys Mecha every game. And this kind of, goes against that, I suppose. Disabling the healing. Not sure if this is the only reason why, or maybe they got something in mind. Although, usually AA is one of those heroes where it's just like all around really solid. Well,
yeah. There is a Disruptor still on the board, which, if Wheel doesn't pick it, there's a chance that they will or will be a good idea for them to ban it out. Because if Thunder picks that, then that could put a damper into what Darkseer wants to do, especially if he's going to surge anybody to get away. But very strong display from these supports.
Yeah,
right. They're looking for a very durable early game lane phase. That Arcane Aura is going to help give them that boost, more persistence to continue to press the towers. It'll give them extra opportunities to give some lane presence mid and help out support their mid players. Oh, I do like these picks. I do like the power that these supports carry with them, and certainly Ancient Apparition will limit some of the HP pool, right? The healing that Darkseer or Crystal Maiden or whoever carries the mechanism, right? Ancient Apparition is a good way to ensure that your enemy team doesn't recover as quickly as they would hope.
Both teams keeping it cool going into that second banning stage. We now have got the the Chaos Knight being banned out, as well as the Legion Commander. Legion Commander was really strong in the last match. I think Awaken made great use of her. They got many kills that they probably wouldn't have gotten with any other hero. And so getting rid of her seems like a safe bet. It's going to be a Queen of Pain and the Faceless Void as well. So just going for the usual round of bans. Nothing too crazy there. Crystal Maiden is a quite interesting choice. It gives Darkseer a lot of mana to just spam, which is nice, right? You want to get Iron Shell on as many units as possible. But other than that, she is quite susceptible to Sand-King, She doesn't really deal too well with him. Yeah.
Radiant team pick.
Storm Spirit.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Yeah, this pick is actually pretty interesting here. He does struggle a little bit at certain points while going up against main. He doesn't like being rooted whatsoever. It's a big problem for the hero. But other than that, if he gets out of control, like, she's free food, right? Darkseer will also not really be able to defend himself that well. Ricky. Oh, haven't seen him in a minute.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Sand stands ready.
Also no.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Absolutely, like, he's just gonna do so much damage here, right? At the same time, being stuck in a smoke cloud is really bad for Sven, especially if he doesn't have that BKB yet. So, for the time being, we'll see how this works out, right? There's still... the nice thing about Whreck Wild Whistling's team here is they left their two big cores until the last two picks. So we'll see what they end up going for here, right? A hero that actually banned out a lot so far that is still in the draft is an Ursa. Ursa also does decently well against Sven, although struggles against, you know, high mobility heroes, so Storm Spirit would be a problem for him. Something we also really want to consider is somebody that can silence Storm. Something, somebody that buys an Orchid is generally advisable. Gotta stop that guy from running away. Currently, they don't actually have crazy amounts of disable for him. The Smoke Cloud will definitely help, but it's still really tricky to catch him with that, even if you are playing a Ricky.
Dire Team ban.
Templar Assassin.
Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant Team ban. Radiant Team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
It's gonna be a little bit difficult by going up against TA, of course. Yeah. She does have that refraction blocking a lot of damage, but we'll see what they go for. Waiting until the very last second. It's gonna be that Troll Warlord. Well, maybe this is gonna be his game to shine. In the meantime, Thunder Awaken now also looking at seems like either an offlaner or a support is going to be an offlaner. Beastmaster. Definitely a good choice here, actually. I like it. It's super nice against the Troll Warlord to just have that one big disable that stops him from doing anything, right? Just, nope, you're gonna be stunned, my man. Well, into the game we go. No pause this time? No pause this time. Finally, we'll just be able to watch some
moving along
Dota.
today.
Yeah! We'll be speeding this whole thing up a little bit. Gonna be playing this one on twice the speed that we did the previous one. But actually kind of interesting to play Dota on twice the speed, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Anyway.
that would be a challenge for sure. I'm sure some of the old StarCraft pros could do it with their 250 something actions per minute. Good God.
I mean, that is a lot, especially on the keyboard. Like, that can be kind of crazy. Anyway, we've got Mad already roaming into the Dire side of the map. Just kind of saying, hey guys, I'm Ricky. Let's scout things out. Let me go and scout things out really quick. We've got Dota the 2 on Darkseer, I Annihilate on the Templar Assassin, Derp playing the Crystal Maiden, and KBH on the Troll Warlord, which is all pretty much what you would expect. You need to make sure to not call him Ricky. His name always trips me out because he's called KBH Ricky for some reason. But if I call him Ricky now, it's going to be quite confusing. We've got Smash on the Beastmaster. We've got Leo Style on the Storm
The
Spirit.
battle begins.
Van playing the Sven. M-God on the Ancient Apparition. And C2 King playing the Sand King. There's really nothing surprising here. This is all pretty standard, I think. Right, we'll see the Sand King roam around. We'll see the Ancient Apparition just kind of spend a lot of time in lane, making sure the Sven gets farmed. It's gonna be a more expected lanes this time around, with you know, just straight up the top lane being the safe lane and the bottom lane being the our safe lane. Yeah. Gonna be
So yep, like we had mentioned before, this could be a dangerous thing for Darkseers, that early combinations where they're able to move in on that one and those extra hits from Sven. Sure enough, first blood, easy as pie.
yeah, and that's exactly what they want to do this early, right?
Dire's top tower
Darkseer is level 1. He doesn't have Surge. So just kill him as often as you can while he's still level 1. Alright, just take him out a few times. And why not? It's not really a big deal. You've got mangoes. You've got all the resources it takes to do that. And actually, Dota the 2 says, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to risk it again. And he's just going to go in and get his level 2 before he gets back into lane. Farming some creeps for that. No, does he have it? Not quite. Rather close. Picking up 3 mangoes. That's kind of funny. Well, we like ourselves some mangoes here, don't we? Oh, by the way, you know why
it does give him some extra HP regen. No, but go ahead and say again.
Do you know why it's a mango? Why it's an enchanted mango, not like an enchanted pineapple?
I think that just might be Bruno's preference. It might be his favorite food.
I
Who
think
knows?
it's Ice Frog's favorite food. Like Ice Frog really.
Oh,
likes
that's
mangoes.
right, Ice Frog. Yes, definitely. Bruno is definitely not
Oh,
Ice Frog.
I actually asked Bruno in person if he's Ice Frog. He didn't reply. So
Of course, he can't. He's gonna take that to the grave, mate. I really think he will. Which is absolutely fascinating. But I hope he comes back with all those flamboyant dress shirts that he used to wear back in the day. I really miss that guy. I thought he was a great addition to the panel.
I once
You
wondered
know, as things go,
I always wondered about.
you're the
those kind of shirts.
mastermind behind the tweaks and changes to the Dota world. I mean, it's a busy lifestyle.
No, I've always wondered about those kind of shirts. Like, aren't those insanely expensive if you ask me one each day?
Yes. You gotta get them pressed. You've gotta go get it like professionally cleaned. Like, yeah, man, when you're wearing like silks all the time, that's what happens. And plus, he's got those glorious moles that just work really well with his attire. I don't know anyone else who has those types of like
You're
masculine beauty marks. That's what I like to call them. So mid lane TA's in trouble.
You know, I would ask for a little bit of copper price right now, but I don't know if the streaming site on has that. But anyway, if not, that's definitely gonna get started now. So we've got Swing just kind of farming up at the top, and they've actually mostly surrendered this lane at this point. Darkseer is trying to leech as much experience as he can, and actually he's gonna be able to get at least a little bit in justice. Seeing as the Sven did go for the early points into the Great Cleave, pushing down the lane. And that's actually, like, I think mostly the reason why they have this hero up here. You know, they saw the Darkseer, so just saying, hey, who can actually lane against that guy? Well, Sven is able to, you know, push down the lane and apply some pressure, and also we can catch him with that. Sven actually does pretty well against Darkseer, so it's a nice little pickup there, and it's already showing. He's getting a lot of farm, sitting at 24 last. It's just out of Storm Spirit also doing quite well in the mid lane here. Going even with the TA, both of them also around that 24 mark. So they are also trading hits. This early game has been pretty calm, and Ricky, well, he's just running around, leeching experience, stealing bounty runes, and for Smash, I'm sure he's not going to be very happy about that.
No, you'd be surprised how effective just reducing the XP gain from the enemy player here, cutting it by half.
Yeah.
And I am surprised by Smash not picking up the Sentry and was trying to keep an eye on this one. He may be able to get Smash before he gets up to the high ground. Just beat this 2-3? No, it's going to let him go away. It's a good attempt, though, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the try.
If he can just continue to just stay close to the camp pulls that are happening on Thunder's side, over on the Dire side of the map, that Ricky effect slow down progress. We won't be able to see it until later on, but TA feeling some pressure.
Oh, they're coming into the mid lane here. Setting up a little bit of a gang, but nothing much is going to come from it. And actually, the return, Leo Star taking a lot of damage. They've got the silence, and one more right click is going to do it. Annihilate. Ending up taking a kill right here. Now, even trying to go for M-God. A few right clicks are going to do it on him as well. Does he have it? He's slowed down a lot. One more attack, and M-God ends up dropping. C2 King, slowly waddling back to his tower, hoping, hey guys, where did you go? Well, they kind of found an early little grave right there. And Shrine gonna put both the TA and the Ricky back into good, solid shape. And with that didn't work out for Thunder here. Kind of a very unfortunate attempt, actually, like really to double that TA. Lucky little range. And oh, they've got a slow Leo Star. Throw down the smoke cloud as well. Doesn't seem like they'll have enough damage, but he will force the Sapphire Bang is now pretty low on HP and mana. Smash in the meantime, he's just not even trying to go into the bottom lane. Find it interesting, I know people do that, but they're just like, you know what? We'll just let you have it. You know what? We're not even gonna contest it. We'll farm out in the jungle and make sure Beastmaster gets some money. Beastmaster actually farms the jungle really, really well. And it's very good.
So net worth holding on to that short lead. I mean, it's only 1,000 gold, but the experience gain now up by 2,000 between the two. 6.5 minutes in. Perhaps, this game may end up a little different. No, I think everything's alright, man. I think they're just trolling us.
Get us. Anyway. So
speaking of trolls, right up against the bottom tier 1. Smashful.
Yeah, we've got just KBH, he's warming up as well. Like, it seems this is the place that both teams really like to simply sit back and make sure, hey, we're gonna go out and get our money before we really engage in anything big here. They did the same thing last game and they're doing the same thing. There's actually these very volatile games where it can come down to just like 1 or 2 team fights, and then all of a sudden, because the game was so close, it's now just completely out of hand. So interesting. Teams seem to have a similar playstyle. It doesn't happen all that often. A bit of a roam up top.
Yeah, with Ricky now at level 6. He decided to not go for... Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at darts here, right?
Yeah.
But a level 4 Ricky, rather. It does hurt him a little, trying to have to just stay as close to we can as the enemy team. Try to leech some of that experience.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
But yeah, that's absolutely brutal. Mad Ming allowing that Ion Shell just to bleed him out and then waiting until it's just the right moment. I think it's absolutely delightful. It was terrible.
Don't do that to somebody. That's rude. The poor ancient apparition. There was nothing he could do. Are they gonna go ahead and put another Iron Shell on Mad? They got lucky once. Maybe they'll manage to pull it off again. No, actually, he's just gonna decide to farm some creeps with it. It was reasonable enough. And meantime, Sven not actually up at this top lane anymore. He's started to roam around a bit, picking up that early mask of, and that's gonna go and activate his ultimate to farm a big stack of ancients right here. Very happy to see that. These ancient stacks really make or break a game, and you can see with that, the Sven now at a solid net worth lead. Derp. Oh, he's kind of in a scary spot. Oh, he finds Smash. He's actually gonna freeze him up really quick. And KVH is coming in as well. The Crystal Maiden just now leveling up. She's got an ultimate if she really wants to use it. Gonna settle for another freeze. And now KVH going in, but Smash is quite tanky here. And actually it's gonna be the Troll Warrior that gets jumped. Leo Star coming in as well. That's a dead troll. They're gonna find Derp. But Crystal Maiden able to TP out. Nice reaction there. I really like seeing that, just saying, hey, they just do everything. They'll not be able to stop me from getting out of there. And so they can't. And so she gets out. Nonetheless, losing troll like that, that's not great for them. But they're still looking pretty alright.
Dire structures are fortified.
They're also just rushing Desolator here, so she just wants to maximize her early game farming potentially here and just deal as much damage as
Dire's
possible.
top tower has fallen.
Top lane. We're gonna go ahead and get some damage in the team. So it's taking down the tower. That one goes to Mad,
Radiant's
which is
bottom tower
actually
is under
quite the
attack.
rich Ricky. Like, he's got a lot of money for a Ricky. Doing well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So what do you think
Radiant's
is gonna
bottom
be
tower is under
the plan here for our Rangers? You know, they have been roaming around each making sure they get some money. Do you think if like any moment in particular where they want to actually go and force things, or they just have to keep going with the crowd?
Well, they haven't lost a tower. The damage has really been nominal. They've kept the lanes really well pushed out, with bottom lane looking like it could be the weak link. Middle lane doesn't have full attention. I noticed that they're trying to rotate out and work on some of these stack camps in mid lane. Sven could be in trouble. The rotation coming in, they throw the Ice Vortex in. And those refraction shields may be enough to absorb some of that damage. But to complete answer your question, they continue to leave these lanes open, and just like top lane, things are just going to get pushed in. They are on a good path to just keep this momentum going. I will say that, however, Thunder will be able to change the tempo slightly once they get these team fights online. Once we see Beastmaster kind of get a good roar in there, sink his teeth into Wheel, if you will. Sand King as well. His epicenter is on the ready, and Storm Spirit now partially building into his Bloodstone. Very interesting to see where he's going to go. More than likely focusing down that Maiden. So Wheel does have their weak spots, and you know, I think Thunder's very much capable of focusing in on that and making it more of a challenge for them to continue to take these towers down. And we'll see. Missing on the roar mid lane. Ooh, that's a tricky spot to be in.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a difficult situation right there, but nonetheless, I feel like Wheel is actually they're just looking at such a solid position here. They are really spending a lot of time doing exactly what they want to do. Now, the one hero I'm still worried about is the Troll. Like, I don't know. Every time I see him, he just seems to not be doing as well as he needs to. But picking up early Vladimir, I'm sure we'll see. Probably User Blade, I think we pretty common these days. Actually, Derp. Gonna be taken down. Just a quick pick-off, nothing too crazy. There's a Van going for Mask of Madness into Saint Yasha. That's a little bit of an older item build, something we haven't seen too much in the recent days. What do you think of that? Oh, actually got a jump. Nobody here though, and with just a Rookie hiding in a little bit of a cloud. Nonetheless, he'll end up dropping. Turns it around a bit though, manages to actually kill Ceto King.
But with the gold lead is still growing in favor of Wheel. Game 2. Now with Carry League here in Season 5. Thank you for those who are just now tuning in. Balmy, RB, Pete, the two of us getting together, watching two of the best teams right now in KOD League. Grand Finals.
No,
very
actually,
much.
the two best teams. I mean, they made it all the way into the Grand Finals. I think at this point it's fair to say that, right?
They've earned it. They've earned it, absolutely.
Right, at some point, we're just going to say, you guys did it. You are the best ones we've got. So we'll see who comes out ahead. I mean, again, the favorite is Wheel, but they did lose the first game, so it's definitely ramping up to be an interesting set of games. It's a best of 5. We're in game 2. Actually, got a fight at the bottom, though. Sven caught out and dropped. Derp. Well, he let go, and that's going to be a frozen also. In the meantime, Roshan attempted, but Roshan denied. DA taken down. Quick Ice Blast finishes her off, and actually M-God taking the kill. I'm sure he's going to be fairly happy about that. Wonder what the Ancient Apparition is actually going to go for. Used to be that you get a Hand of Midas on the hero every single game. Not so much these days anymore, simply because it's become even harder for him to find one. But I would actually like to see it. I mean, Aghanim's on AA. Hold good. C2 King, in the meantime, gonna be jumped and goes down. That Iron Shell has really been working for them. They've been making great use of it. putting the Ricky right on top of enemies, burning them into the ground very slowly. Oh, Leo is down. He may be the next target. Nah. He's safe. He's absolutely safe.
But there's this mid tower close to going down. As they start to get close together, they will find an opportunity here.
This
gonna go in.
This is what a Ricky does to a team, you know, like he's just giving them all the vision, and great dodge from Annihilate. Avoids getting hit by that Ice Blast, and finds Man. Now the Sven is not actually able to fight him, but the disarm makes it so that DA can't fight him either. He's gonna be frozen up, Storm comes in, just a few more right clicks, and Annihilate goes down. Smash now on the retreat. Matt wants to finish him off. He does manage to do so, but Leo Star, he's here, and he's ready to fight. C2 King. Oh, he's dropping low. He's forced to retreat out. Leo Star now saps away. They do actually manage to kill the Crystal Maiden, but now the Storm Spirit dropping so low, he'll be forced to deny himself. Funnily enough, that actually makes it so that the rest of his team ends up being fine. C2 King and M-God healed up to 4 thanks to that Bloodstone, and with that, the fight is going to come to an end. I was actually, I don't know, pretty even fight it seems. They're going to go ahead and find Ricky though, so they'll get another quick kill right there. Storm Spirit, of course, coming back basically immediately with, how many stacks was that on Bloodstone? 15, I believe? Something along those lines.
The pipe pickup now online for Darkseer.
Oh, I love that.
As an extra layer of defensibility for them, and it's saying he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't get away from this one. They let him go. Well, that's a surprise.
Well, it's kind of a risky situation. Enemy heroes are pushing down the mid. If you commit to killing the Sand King, it's not a fast kill. Sand King is very elusive. He is not easy to slow down. So it's gonna take some time, and that gives the dire side all the time in the world to respond, and then it's a 2 spot. It's just not worth it. An important thing to keep in mind about this Darkseer type of things, like usually Darkseer goes mecha, right? That's what you get on Darkseer because it's so good. But this game, that doesn't really work. Ancient Apparition does deny the mecha, and as such, the Pipe of Insight is gonna be the item of choice, right? A similar tool, just not exactly the same. Also a bit more expensive.
It does prevent them from taking that ticking damage if they do get hit with the full Ice Blast. But if something does manage to hit them from some other source, of course, if they get down to that HP threshold, it's health. Oh, it's a 10% health threshold. And so with that percentage, they do have low HP thresholds anyways in this Crystal Maiden. Could be in trouble. The Pearl Strike underneath. Take it away.
She is just dead. There's nothing to say here. She's just done. But over there, we've got Van going in. He wants a little bit more. He gets Dota the 2, but he's taking so much damage. Gonna be slowed up as well. Caught inside of that Ricky ultimate. The disarm on the TA. Gonna keep Van safe for the time being. Are they able to stop her from getting close enough to him? Oh my god. She just destroys that Ancient Apparition. Absolutely annihilates him. Well, that's his name for a reason. In the meantime, Ricky's still trying to finish off the Sven. He's fast though. He's tanky. In the meantime, I Annihilate. He's also still around. Now looking for maybe a little bit more. No, they'll settle. They're happy. Nope. Crystal Maiden is here. Sand King is dead. The slow on Leo Star. He saps away. Smash. Gonna be slowed up as well. I Annihilate. Got a blink deck in just a few seconds. Slowed down by that boar. And this time, that's actually gonna be the end of it. Fundus.
I do want to point out how long Sven survived that fight with less than 100 HP. He managed to kite Templar Assassin around, comes back in onto the high ground, where Ricky manages to sneak in that last hit on him. But I mean, it was a good almost full-on minute and a half that he was able to avoid being taken down. And so that training, he was basically kiting around everybody from Wheel, that mid lane. They find an opening, they find a weakness with him.
They really need to avoid something like that. Like, this does give the Storm Spirit Bloodstone charges, right? And that's a big problem. Like, if he gets too many of those, you are in trouble. And the gap has been closing. We had Wheel leading earlier on, and at this point, not so much anymore. Like, they're actually pretty much even here. TA is still ahead of everybody in terms of net worth, and now seems to be going for the Diffuser Blade. which is interesting. I guess their idea there is, you know what, while I'm gonna be disarmed by the Heaven's Halberd, I'm just gonna go ahead and slow him down so he doesn't run away from me. Kind of makes a bit of sense, but it's still a bit of an odd choice. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page here, you can't use Diffuser Blade on yourself. That doesn't work anymore. So you can't purge off Heaven's Halberd. Not only can you not purge off Heaven's Halberd because you can't use Diffuser Blade on yourself, but you also can't purge it off because you can't purge off Heaven's Halberd. Like at all. There's nothing in the game that purges Heaven's Halberd.
Absolutely not. It's not dispellable.
Yeah. So one of the recent buffs to the item. Ever since that, it has been picked up left and right.
Yeah, they brought it back for sure.
BKB out
showed
of
up
it.
in a lot of these matches.
Oh, they go in deep. To keep out of damage. We're gonna keep him in place. Well, actually, Bullet still looking for the sample. I mean, they do manage to cure a kill. Oh, Sven is now here, and his damage output, well, it's Sven damage output. They do manage to kill the Crystal Maiden on top of this. M-God getting that double kill, and well, he has that name for a reason. He is the M-God. He's actually doing
Van
well.
with the big Storm Ball on point. Ancient Apparition finishing off the Crystal Maiden. Ricky using Tricks of the Trade, as we spoke about earlier, where he did get caught initially, but was able to dodge that early attempt for Thunder to move in and follow up. And so they are using these spells appropriately. It's just in that positioning, fighting up into the high ground. It right away put Wheel at a disadvantage.
Absolutely, that was just a difficult position to be in. They were fighting not only the enemy heroes, but also for vision. Tough spot. Sven, unsure what to go for. He has an Assault Cross and his Quick Buy, but he isn't actually buying parts of it, even though he's got quite a bit of money. Personally, I think going BKB here is probably a smarter option. It doesn't feel good to go BKB in a game where there really isn't like any super huge ability, but smoke out, like smoke. Well, Roshan goes down.
That Aegis is going to add an added layer of confidence for Wheel.
Yeah.
Let's see Annihilate just hanging out in the Roshan pit. It looked like he was waiting for someone to scout it out.
Oh my god, he goes in on Smash, immediately ward up. Beastmaster also manages to use the natural block, but it doesn't break through the refraction. In the meantime, we've got Leostar trying to maybe get something done, but he actually just gets bashed up and taken down.
Crystal Maiden has such a huge target on her back. Storm Spirit doesn't waste any time to go in and after her. I feel like Wheel might have an advantage here if they can continue to put Crystal Maiden in those positions where they can bait out Storm Spirit. He's really quick to jump on her, and just like the mistake that he made there,
oh,
Thunder
that
was able to
dash. Oh no, Van is on the retreat. It was looking so good for him too, but actually we've got the return, but just a few right clicks from the TA. Actually, Mad will be the one to finish that one. Sanking. Oh, he reacts very slowly to that. Leostar coming in as well, but he will just be forced to retreat. M-God, well, he's all the way in the back anyway, but Ashley. Oh, TA. She's actually going into deep. She's taking a lot of damage here. Leostar will be able to finish that kill, and the Aegis ends up being used. I Annihilate.
The team's not far away.
Yeah, a little bit too confident.
To be able to cover her. Yeah, there was a lot of confidence in the Aegis. She knew that, well, at least Annihilate knew that there wasn't much that they were going to get from Thunder out of this one. They were already leaving the lane. It was kind of a waste, kind of giving up the Aegis like that, but it did give the Tier 1 tower, it was an easy fall. They were able to take it, and now they can shift gears, try again on this Tier 2 mid lane, and hope that they can survive this roar.
Oh my god, the TA with the double damage is just disgusting, but they do have an Ice Blast on Leostar. And actually, it's going to be the TA that ends up dropping here. Ricky going to be called out as well. Derp next in line, and this is just not a good fight for Wheel. They lose 3 heroes, may even be 4. Oh man, so close to death right there. They do manage to actually find him though. Oh yeah, he reveals himself. Why did you do that? Oh man, oh man, oh man.
The dust. The dust. They managed to pop the dust. He uses the blink strike to go to one of the necro minions to get away from Sand King, or to get away from Storm Spirit. I think either one. But anyway, so Ricky had an opportunity to get away, but I don't know what had happened. But you saw it too. That it looked like he turned around to get that last hit on it, and it put him within range of the dust.
He turned around to kill the creep, and that revealed where he was. And then
Oh,
he
that's
just blinked on
correct.
him.
Yes.
He just blinked on him and was like, "Oh, there you are." And it's like, "Oh, well, that was a mistake," and so he dies. Like that was so greedy. That was so greedy. I mean, I can approve of it.
It was definitely not worth it.
Not worth it, but beautiful. So, the back
It was
going.
entertaining for us,
Yeah.
despite all of the shenanigans.
In the meantime, the Sven continues to farm up, and he actually did go for that BKB. Again, I'm very happy to see that. It's just the right call here. Something I would actually like to see on him is Orchid into blood form. I know Orchid on Sven is not really something that you usually think, hey, but it's actually fantastic. It works so well. Even at level 25, you can then actually take the -8-second Stormhammer cooldown, which you usually can't because you just don't have the mana for. But then you can just spam Stormhammer. It's really awesome. We've got the Ricky being caught out up at the top. Leo Star manages to finish off that kill really quick. Storm Spirit with that Orchid just silencing people left and right, getting those pickles. It's difficult. It's difficult to go up against him at this point. He's also working towards a Shiva's Guard. I would like to see, either 4-staff or Yules or BKB, something like that on him. He needs to get his way. He needs to find a way out of the smoke cloud. That's really the big thing, right? If he gets caught in that, he is in a world of hurt. Oh well. For the time being, he's doing so well. It's probably not something he thinks he needs to worry about. Smash. Gonna go ahead and take down that top tier 1 tower. And at this point, I think Thunder, they're actually looking at a really strong position again. Like, Wheel, they are overcommitting, right? They are so confident in every single fight. That confidence, sometimes you gotta respect your opponent a little bit more than that.
Yeah, take what you can and look for something else after. You know, they take one bite and they want to go for a second one, and they end up losing far more than they were expecting. If they're able to get that pick off, if they're able to get that tower, just disengage, find another place to go. You know, once you reveal your location, and the more time you give your opponent to calculate what to do, you're already putting yourself in a bad situation. And so Wheel certainly going to have to tighten things up for sure on their end of the map. Their lanes are dwindling very quickly.
They're working on it. So, Dogs here, almost half it. Half the helmet. That's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So good. I like it.
And you know, Van has one of his own. He's going to be perfectly content going up against TA. But that Crystal Maiden, that's the target that Storm Spirit is looking for every time. He's going to exploit that. It is.
Oh my god, they find I Annihilate! The accurate BKB. I actually really like the disengage right afterwards. They're just saying, you know what, this is a little bit... They're going to go down that instead. I Annihilate, he's running out of free, and now they go.
What a
A
blink.
little bit too late though. Blink definitely
Dodges the Stormhammer, manages to get out of this one, and Darkseer is going to be caught on the tail end. See, there were two very important things that happened there. The Templar Assassin was able to dodge that incoming epicenter, and also the Ice Blast that was coming his way as well. The Refraction Shield came up. He was able to mitigate some of that and turned around, and Sand King blown to pieces.
Yeah, that was... I mean... it's a real struggle at this point. Like, they're losing every fight. Every single one of them, right? And we also have a gem now on the Storm Spirit. That kind of invalidates the Ricky. TA, of course, she also has some invisibility. And one thing I'm really unhappy about is this Troll Warlord. He's just not doing much, is he? Like, he's going into these fights and he's trying to deal damage, but every time he's just being stunned up, disabled, unable to actually get attacks in, and just goes down.
Yeah, he's fallen behind quite a bit. over the past few minutes. Now only at
Down a
11,000 net worth. He sits at 4th place currently. And it will be at least 5 or 6 minutes before he's able to really catch up. It's even to Storm Spirit, and that means if something happens to Thunder Awaken, where it just slows down Storm Spirit, but he's not slowing down. He's got already 20 stacks on 20 charges on Bloodstone, which allows him to move in and out of any of these engagements without any concern about his mana pool. And what about... I mean, it's just a great boost of confidence for him right now. And so Thunder, they're okay wherever they are on the map. It's Wheel that really has to calculate these next engagements.
Oh, we've got a bit. Just taking a lot of damage. Gonna have to finish it. Damage coming out from that. Beastmaster taken down. Van now gonna be picked off by Annihilate. He's bursting like only a TA can, but Storm, well, he's gonna go ahead and put an end to that. In the meantime, M got the silence. Connecting on Ricky, Mad goes down. Beyond Godlike on Leo Star, the triple kill as well. And that is not a good fight for Wheel. The only one that survives that one is the Darkseer. And what can a Darkseer do to defend this?
Almost doubling the amount of damage that Wheel was able to do. Thunder completely steamrolling. Static remnants coming from Storm Spirit. I mean, he managed to get 2 Vortex off. His Ball Lightning used that 6 times within the fight, dodging back and forth. Orchid, he was able to use that twice. And I mean, he doesn't miss a beat. He's able to grab Crystal Maiden. He's able to grab, Templar Assassin. And he disables just long enough for the rest of his team to move in and come in for the finish. Didn't even matter that they lost Sven and Beastmaster. Thunder, it's just really looking absolutely strong.
Yeah, Thunder, they're doing so well. They're doing so well. And I also love the BKB on the Storm. Alright, I'm very happy I ended up going for that over the Shiva's Guard. At this point, go ahead and pick up your Shivas, right? It's gonna be strong. It's gonna be good. But you gotta get those BKBs online, and they're just winning these fights, right? Absolutely. Wheel relies so much on their Sable, right? To make sure that the Sven just doesn't overwhelm them, and not even just the Sven, the Storm Spirit as well. And those BKBs, they block all of it. Now, you do have the Hammer's Halberd ready, and hopefully that will change a little bit in the next encounter. BKB also just like... This is just a problem. Like, Troll doesn't have any great farming tools. Like, he's not able to snowball, and then he doesn't have the ability to catch up. And now he's been working on a BKB for a solid 10 minutes and just been able to actually get to it. And that's Roshan. And if that goes to the Storm here, yep, Neostar picks it up. He has a double damage too. The big barrel strike on 3 of them, and that's already 2 down. Iron trying to fight and fraction, but that's going to be running out, and the GG is over. Team vibe, no losses. It's over.
Yep, they're going to move on to game 3 on this one. Wheel really feeling the power that Thunder can bring. The Sven and the Storm Spirit, in addition to the stuns coming from the Beastmaster. I mean, in almost every single engagement, I can't recall from my memory in any
Radiant team back. Dire team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, although probably a lot more gentlemen, but hey. Well, they may not be the favorites, but they do not care. They'll just become the favorites after the series is over. Currently up 2-0 and really in a quite a dominating fashion. taking the early game slower and then crushing in the mid game in a way that Whreck just simply could not keep up with. Well, we'll see if game 3 goes the same way, or if maybe Whreck has figured out a way to deal with this style.
Radiant team
Pete,
pick.
are you back?
Yes. So glad to be here, man. Well done, by the way. Well done. Glad that everybody could be here to check things out. That opening pick of the Sand King, once again, you know, it's one of those heroes that you can't have enough of. I mean, the stun, the mobility, I mean, the ability to clear
10
waves,
seconds remaining.
an all-around, absolutely excellent hero, just not
5
ban-worthy.
seconds remaining.
Not so much like the Night Stalker,
Yeah,
Bat Rider, Puck, who have been banned continuously for now game 3. So we'll see how they juggle things around. They're not going to show their mid lane picks right away from the beginning. They haven't done that yet. I'll be surprised if they do. But here we go again, another Clockwork pickup, going back to game 1.
And straight into the dogs here. That's interesting. Usually you pick up Clockwork and kind of like let them sit there a little bit, get your offlaner later so that the enemy team doesn't know what exactly it is you're doing with the Clockwork. But just
10
getting
seconds
Darkseer out of the
remaining.
way, saying, you know what, we like this hero, he's strong, let's just pick him up.
5 seconds remaining.
Now this, of course, leaves Shadow Fiend on the table again. This time around for Thunder Awaken, though, right? We saw it in the first game, Clockwork Shadow Fiend, but Whreck Wild Whistling was the team that actually ended up using them. Now, bans, I find it interesting how Thunder Awaken goes for the exact same 2 bans every game, the Night Stalker and the Kunkka. Can you tell us anything about Whreck Wild Whistling and Kunkka?
10
So they
seconds remaining.
they want to avoid getting caught up in those combinations, right? X marks the
5
spot
seconds remaining.
with the torrent and the boat. Thunder just doesn't want to get hit with something kind of halfway through the fight that could change the tide of the game. And so Wheel does a really good job at resetting the fights, you know, finding a place to put that boat and just sending it directly to the team fight. And so I've seen it time again. Wheel does that very well. It's kind of that was the hero that got them to this position. And so denying them of that Kunkka is a very smart decision by Thunder.
Yes, we see Chaos Knight being banned out right here, as well as the Shadow Fiend. So, Whreck Wild Whistling, respecting that combination, and just making sure that nothing silly ends up happening there.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. They do have a Queen of Pain, which is a hero that very much beats a Shadow Fiend in the mid lane.
Remaining.
She definitely can't even beat him with those extra souls.
5
So,
seconds remaining.
yeah, already picking up a Quap though, making sure they have that strong mid laner. It's actually a little bit of a different style. They have played, what did they play? Second game they played TA. Did they play first game? They played Shadow Fiend, right? Both
Yes.
of those heroes aren't super aggressive in the mid lane. They tend to just take it a little bit slower and farm up a bunch.
Yep. Just get the farm. Yeah.
Queen of Pain can really be played very differently from that, right? She can't just be in your face from the very beginning. She goes into the mid, she gets a little bit of farm there, gets a level 8, and then she just starts roaming, getting kills all over the map. It's a very different style. So maybe they are actually switching it up here and just saying, you know what, this isn't working, we gotta do something different.
Yeah. Queen of Pain is everything that I wish Mirana was. You know, or she's everything that Mirana isn't. Rather,
Well, actually,
you know, that huge
Radiant team
capacity to get in and out of the fights. You know, the AOE damage is certainly there. The single target damage over time. You know, super high mobility. One of the higher mobility heroes very early into the game, and so. Like you were saying earlier, with the ability to leave mid lane and quickly rotate and get back to the mid lane, Queen of Pain is certainly one of those heroes that can do that. And so that add level of mobility, perhaps that's a new angle that they want to try. You're like, okay, so we've tried being aggressive in the lanes, we've tried pushing down towers, you know, we've tried taking
5
things,
seconds remaining.
taking the fight to Thunder. Wheels gotta try something else. I haven't seen them work really with the split push. This could be a rat Dota game. I've got a feeling this is going to be the tempo for this one is going to slow way down for Wheel. They might be looking on the late game for this one.
Split pushing is going to be difficult against Clockwork, though. You know, he can just catch you from half the map away. It's a great tool in terms of dealing with that. Rubik coming out as well. Well, there are some good spells to steal already. Also, very powerful with Clockwork. It's also another one of those combinations, right? Definitely not one we think about as much as Clockwork, Shadow Fiend, but it is something that just overwhelms people given the right situation. It buys you so much time to just disable people with those with the power cock push and such, and you can really actually get carries grossly out of position with that. Just move them very far away from the fight. So I like seeing the Rubik here. Right, good spells to steal, a little bit of a combo on his team. That's really all you can ask for. The hero is just so strong in general that really that kind of like fits our criteria for picking him up. Right. Now, Whreck while whistling, looking at their second pick here, we did see some more bans. We have the TA being banned out as well as the Drow Ranger. So the Drow Ranger ban to me tells me that Thunder Awaken is just like, okay, we don't want them to cheese us because we believe that in a straight up fight we're gonna win, right? So since that's how the way it's going, let's just go ahead and get rid of the Drow strat possibility. Make sure we've got everything under control. Make sure that there's no obvious cheese available, and then we can simply go ahead and play another game like the previous two and win from there. Right now, we're just waiting for that next pick, though. It's always really difficult to predict something at this point. They're going to go ahead and pick up a Shadow Shaman. Actually, a hero I'm surprised we haven't seen more of up to this point. It's difficult to make use of him while going up against Clockwork. But it's not bad enough to invalidate the hero. He's still going to be very powerful.
He will open up those tier 1 towers, make it really easy for them to get any towers that are well defended. Shadow Shaman has, can help follow up with the Burrow Strike, can help set up Queen of Pain, that shackle. Certainly enough to just hold on to somebody long enough. Darkseer will have a difficult time trying to just surge past or get away. Of course, Rubik with telekinesis, when you bring somebody back down, you've always got some reliability here with Shadow Shaman. That burst damage is going to be helpful. I've got a feeling we're going to see some Yule Scepters in this game to try to mitigate getting stuck inside the cogs on Clockwork, to try to get away from Rubik if he's trying to set up telekinesis for Ursa now, who's joined the fight. Good selection. I do think Ursa adds an extra layer of offense for Thunder.
I mean,
one more, right? Perhaps even let's throw in the troll after that. Why not give him why not give him that added attack speed?
I would be very
not
surprised.
That he needs it. Not that he needs it, but if they're going to go all out, since they've got the Ursa now. So how exactly do you think Wheel are going to respond to this one?
Well,
they're going to go with some durability, or maybe pick up the Legion?
But there's usually two ways of dealing with him, right? It's just like either you try to kite him or you disable him. Because you don't want to just fight him. Ursa wins that.
No. He wins most fights.
Yeah. If it comes to just a straight up, hey, let's beat each other up, Ursa wins that every single time. So let's try to avoid that. Now, there's a lot of ways of doing that. I actually find this Ursa pick a little bit surprising here. Enemy team already has Shadow Shaman, Queen of Pain, and Sanking. All of those do well against him. Necrophos too. Necrophos, this is exactly what I just mentioned. It's just like, okay, we're going to kite him. We're just going to avoid him. Right? Necrophos pushes W, Ursa sits there and is like, I can't eat him. He's kind of a ghost right now.
10 seconds remaining.
Eating ghosts is really difficult.
Yeah, the cogs are kind of working against what Ursa can bring to the team fights as well. That zoning out makes it a little bit, it makes it somewhat challenging. You want to get the cogs out of the way so Ursa can get inside. Perhaps even, hook shot on top of a target that Ursa, or you'd rather, came down from telekinesis. He comes in with the cogs. Ursa's already there. They're stuck within the cogs. Like, I see that being a really good scenario for Ursa to be in. But in an ideal world, like, yeah, you want that to be available, but I don't think Wheel's going to allow that to happen so easily. They've already got the Queen of Pain, who's going to be very difficult to catch. Shadow Shaman will be well hidden. Sand King has the ability to get out of those strict sticky situations as well. The durability from Necrophos, he'll be able to, you know, change forms and go ethereal, so he won't have to take, he won't have to worry about physical damage at all. And so, Wheel doing a good job of preparing for this, but Thunder has just been playing so well, the game 1 and game 2, that I think this this last pick is going to be a good indication of how well they are ready to prepare for this. And so I do think they could use one more good stunner, a good AoE reset button, maybe even an Earthshaker, you know, or maybe I do think that they do need to add another core, another carry for sure.
They need a mid. That's what they need. They just Ursa against Queen of Pain just doesn't work.
5 seconds remaining.
Right, sometimes you can send Ursa mid, but not against the Quap. That is just not a good idea. So they need somebody. This is actually really hard. I don't know what's going to be a good choice here. They'll end up going for an Ember
Choose your
Spirit.
hero.
Ooh, that seems... Honestly, I feel like they have put themselves into a very interesting situation there. Now, Ursa does have a lot of backup from the Darkseid, which is great. Having the Surge enable Ursa, good stuff. But I do feel like maybe Thunder Awaken is just kind of taking a more lax approach into this next game. You know, they're just saying, all right, we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, we still got 2 games to go, right? Like, we can lose one and we're gonna be all good. Because that draft just seems really odd to me. Like, the Ember Spirit, well, Phantom Lance is gonna get a Diffusal Blade anyway, which, by the way, interesting pickup, right? Ember Spirit also doesn't like being disabled, and there's an Orchid hero on the other team, right? There's Shadow Shaman, Sand King, they'll just lock him down. Queen of Pain's gonna buy an Orchid. This is just... I feel like that Ursa pick, Thunder Awaken really put themselves into a bad spot right there.
Yeah, they needed a mid hero, and they were kind of boxed into a corner here on
Didn't
this
have
one.
a lot
But
of
they
time.
also wanted a hero that could potentially give them some targets. With the combination, Searing Chains, Sleight of Fist, you know, they can go in and they grab somebody temporarily. However, I don't think that's going to be a wide enough window in every situation. But this Ember does allow some of those combinations. They will be able to get in there and follow up initially. And he can disengage when he needs to. However, he's not going to be getting away from Side. He's not going to be getting away from Shackle. And so I think Wheel did pick very well in picking heroes that can effectively kite the enemy team while also hoping that Phantom Lancer will survive long enough into the late game and help, you know, create some momentum for them. Continue to push at the opposite end of the map. And so I'm very much liking. I prefer Wheel's draft on this one, but I still want to say that Thunder can do something with this. They've outperformed them game 1 and 2, and I'm going to say that Thunder is going to go ahead and move this into game 3 and take this for the win.
Thunder is going for a draft that is pretty similar in terms of playstyle with their first 2 drafts, which is just, okay, let's go and get some items and then end the game, right? More of that mid-game style. Not trying to apply any crazy aggression early on. Just, let's go and make sure we have a solid early game, and then we go ahead and just push it out at around 25 to 30 minutes, force some big fights, and just overtake from there. Their current lineup is very much into that direction. That's when heroes like Ember Spirit and Ursa excel. Nonetheless, I'm still a little bit worried. Ursa is just going to struggle to find an opportunity to farm, and he's going to struggle to find an opportunity to fight. Like, these fights are going to be very difficult for him. Mid lane is actually not going to be the Queen of Pain, by the way. Dota the 2 going into the off lane with that Quap. Mid lane, it's looking like we have a Phantom Lance. I Annihilate. Yeah, I Annihilate going up against the Ember Spirit right here. And then we've got the Necrophos in the safe lane. And this is actually...
This is a good change for them.
Yeah,
and I know you probably were just about to say this, but the Queen of Pain will allow Ursa to have to be a little bit more calculated. He's got to be careful. Rubik's going to overextend a bit to try to keep Queen of Pain out of there. But I think with the Shadow Shaman there, that looked like a superior situation for Wheel in the top lane.
Yeah, they really have to do this. First of all, they don't really have any other offlane, right? Like, I guess they could put the Necrophos here, but that doesn't quite work, right? Queen of Pain needs to be in the offlane just because they don't have anybody else for it. Also, Phantom Lancer can't really go up against Dogs here. Just loses that. You need a ranged hero there. This is really the only way these lanes work out. But this is actually not that bad. Like, Phantom Lancer will do fine against the Ember Spirit. He may not be able to completely overwhelm him, but the Shackles aren't too effective. The Doppelganger simply purchase that off. And outside of that, you know, they'll probably just be farming up right next to each other.
Yeah, the Orb of Venom is a good pickup for Phantom Lancer as well.
Yeah.
That added poison damage would help tick down Leo style, and you know, if anything, at least buy Annihilate a little more time, so he can at least keep up. Because the AOE from the Flame Guard for Leo style makes it really easy to sneak in some last hits, absorb taking some damage from Spirit Lance. And so it's a toss-up either way.
Oh,
but it was good item utilization regardless.
No initiation idea, just a little bit. But there are the Shackles. Ember Spirit gonna be going down as the first blood. Matt picks up that kill. Backup is around, but just a little bit too late. Stockroad will settle for taking some creeps.
And so up top, Dota the 2 trying to put some extra pressure on Van, who, you know, makes it really easy for Ursa to get the lane right up against the tower, but it looks like he's going to move beyond the tier 1.
Oh, actually, yeah, he's going in on this, and he will be able to get the kill. The second point into the Earthshock right there, 140 magic damage from that. It's interesting. Usually Ursa's max out if Ursa max and then get the double nuke. Yeah, he just decides, you know what, I'm gonna go and nuke down this Queen of Pain. In the meantime, at the bottom, we've got Derp picking up a kill on the Darkseer. So we are already being a lot more aggressive. And this is really what I expect from them, right? They have this really interesting setup where they have 3 heroes that can hold their own. They'll be fine, right? They don't need to be constantly babysat. And then they've got that Shadow Shaman Sand King combination that is just roaming around the map, super easily setting up kills, you know, a Burrow Strike into the Shackles. That is so much disable. You'll be able to take down anybody with that. You know, Evo Shock also adding 140 damage into the mix, which is actually crazy how much that damage that ability deals at level 1. Clockwork right here, gonna be caught out. Takes a hit. The Burrow Strike coming up. One more attack. The Shackles. They go ahead and also get that big nuke in really quick. And C2 King going down yet again. Ricky will be healing up with that Death Pulse. And yeah, the aggression already coming out. And I think this will really have a big impact on this game. This seems to be a style that Thunder probably doesn't like very much. Again, they like to just take it easy and farm up and, you know, just fight you in the mid game. Right now, they'll probably not get that time.
Yeah, this is good lane placement for Wheel. They were able to just pick into these heroes and put them in a lane where they felt that they would have the most survivability and have the most impact, despite taking the lead, you know, with Ursa and Ember Spirit sitting on top with last hits. Well, now Phantom Lancer matching 24 to 24 here with Leo style. This is a good sign for Wheel, but it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be able to carry through. As the game progresses, Ursa, of course, is going to become more and more durable, now holding on with his face boots. And, you know, you'll see as it starts moving into, you know, 8, 9, 10 minutes into the game where they start rotating lanes a bit more from Thunder, I should say. But mid lane, that Burrow Strike, just coming up short.
Phantom Lancer takes it. Well, it's actually dropping rather low. Gonna be forced to also move towards the dire side here. Doppelganger away, activates that bottle, and then they'll actually keep it safe for now. Nice double Burrow Strike right there, and actually Clockwork will be dead. M-God now also taking quite a bit of damage right here. I Annihilate picking up the second support kill. And yeah, they're turning that around quite nicely. This is exactly what I just mentioned, you know? Sand King and Shadow Shaman, they're just roaming around the map. They'll be doing this for the entire early game. And Thunder is struggling.
Annihilate was able to dodge that incoming attack. He used Doppelganger nicely, gets himself from the high ground down to the lower area, dispatches, or he just disengages rather to the other end of the river, heals up as quickly as he possibly can, gets back in, and does a great job helping to get that double kill. Your Leo style, feeling the pressure.
The Mad kind of surrounded a little bit. Nothing too bad. He'll end up being fine.
Radiant's bottom
I
tower
think that's also
is
kind
under
of
attack.
noteworthy. He's actually dotted it too. Really not able to get any farm at all. Sitting at 14 last hits right now. Getting completely overwhelmed in the top lane. But actually, another fight in the mid lane. Industry one out. Nice power cogs. That will get Leo style to safety, who now decides to just teleport home really quick, heal up, and then come back.
What a save from Zatoking. I mean, he moves in just as he needs to. The cogs were well placed. The timing was absolutely stellar, and he was able to keep his mid hero or his mid partner alive.
Got to roam into the top now. They're looking at Ursa. Burrow Strike does connect. They find him. They have enough damage. Oh, ultimate gonna keep him protected for a little while. Now they're gonna go for Derp Derp. He saps Ursa. He will die. Van dropping no. Only one more right click. That's all that's needed. And he ends up dropping the other two. Now maybe hoping to get Clawfog as well. The Burrow Strike does connect, but currently the Queen of Pain is sadly too far away to be able to actually do something here. C2 King still being slowed down by our Sand King. Cutting through the trees up here. This actually opens up quite a bit of space for him. And it seems he will be able to escape. Yeah, Wheel realizes that at this point TPs are too likely. This is just a little bit too risky.
Yeah, those mini stuns coming from Battery Assault were excellent in interrupting the Shackled. Interrupting the Shackles from Shadow Shaman and making it really easy for Queen of Pain and Sand King to finish off Ursa.
Shadow Shaman, well, he ends up dying, but he doesn't end up wasting any time. Goes into the mid lane and immediately gets another kill on the Ember Spirit. This is a real problem now. They're actually behind them. 5 kills. The network fleet is starting to build up. Wheel really showing that, you know what? We know how to play a different game as well. And they're going to go ahead and use that different playstyle. Thunder into a bad spot. Now there is at the bottom. He's going to have a Reaper Slap drop the top of him. He's still alive, but next up, and that's going to be a dead Ursa. Going down to Mad right there. The Sandstorm, even with the protection from the ultimate, it's still going to be enough to secure the kill. Smash. He just used the Surge. He doesn't have it ready. A little bit of damage is all it did. It's Grubaba. You get what I was saying. Talking is hard at like 1 in the morning. Please excuse me. Wheel still gonna be able to get that kill though.
Yep, Annihilate rotates mid.
Yep. I mean that's really this is what I mentioned in the beginning, you know, like they're just being aggressive now. They're just saying, you know what? Screw you and your farming. No more farming. We tried that. That doesn't work. And so Annihilate is starting to get really good. Like this Phantom Lancer is a problem because not only does he have a lot of farm, right? His last hits are really good, but he's been involved in 5 kills. Top net worth in the game, the second highest, the Necrophos. And they're just starting to really become a problem, right? Necro
He's also the highest level hero in the game right now, sitting at level 9, almost halfway to level 10. And soon enough, he's going to have 2 levels in Juxtapose, so he'll have more illusions available. And right now, they don't have much to deal with that swarm of illusions that Phantom Lancer can bring to these fights coming up ahead. And what's even more impressive is that he's not just farming alone and letting his team kind of play along and, you know, it'll just casually show up when he can. You know, he's actively participating in these fights, which is something that he needs to do and that Thunder doesn't necessarily know how to deal with.
Those people, it's the when did something that he kind of like, I don't know, I wouldn't say invented, but that's something he really like started to like showed the world how effective it can be. Essentially what you do with Phantom Lance is you just get some early stabs and you rush TP boots. But you don't use those TP boots to farm. You use them to farm somewhere on the map and then be involved in a fight to essentially become a spectator. Phantom Lance can get really strong very quickly with just a few items. So using him as this like aggressive carry that really can be in a lot of fights, which is actually interesting. Like kind of funny that like aggressive was the one to, you know, really bring the aggressive Phantom Lance. before that, you would mostly play him just as, you know, a farming carry, but with those TP boots, like I Annihilate will be able to roam around like crazy, be incredibly impactful.
Radiant structures are
It's gonna be a little bit scary for the Dire side. Leo Star, no, looking to push down this tower. He gets the shackles on the tower, and he may actually be dead. Nope, the Remnant will keep him safe. Those illusions are still chasing him, but well, those won't be enough.
That gold will certainly add up from those illusions.
Dire's bottom tower.
So it'll be interesting to see what Thunder decides to do to help try to clear those out. The rockets, I'm sure the rocket flares are going to help. The Fade Bolts from Rubik will also help. Just the Flame Guard itself will help burn them down. But I'm curious to see if is he going to go for the heart? Is he going to try to get that added layer of HP bonus to his illusions? Will he just kind of save up for those boots of travel? Yep, looks like it's exactly what it's in his stash right now, and will be heading his way shortly.
Probably
It'll allow him to just take off, go to the other end of the map, and like you said earlier, teleport to the team when they need him.
Yeah. No, it's actually an incredible strategy. Like, just having TP boots, not as, you know, hey, I'm greedy. Not as, hey, I want to farm everywhere. Just as, hey, I will be in everything. I will always be there. Oh, bam.
Great work. Enrage, teleport back to base, reduce the damage he takes.
You know what
That's
worries
an easy teleport back.
What worries me is that every single time I've seen Van use his ultimate, it was used
Radiant's middle
defensively.
tower.
Every single one of
Radiant's
them.
bottom tower is under attack.
That's not good news. You need Ursa to be aggressive. That's what that hero does, right? But Van, he's just been using the ultimate as a way to get out of bad situations. Because there have been so many bad situations. And now the push continues. Real, they are using their early power, their early lead to really get some damage done. They lose the Sand King at the bottom lane, C2 King, and Smash pincer him, and he's just gonna drop. But I mean, that's not really right. That's just a support. Top tower ends up falling, and KBH is starting to get really big. And that's where Necrophos gets scary. So, what do you think Thunder, you know, like has as a goal to combat this aggression, right? Like right now, Wheel is just pushing them down, ganking them everywhere, shutting down their base. What do they need to do to prevent that?
They haven't really done a group effort. The team fight has been really weak from them. They've been split. Ursa's trying to get his farm. He wants to build into a Blink Dagger, which is, you know, is online for him now. And, you know, this may be the moment where things start to swing in their favor. If they can just continue to stick together. Don't let Queen of Pain, you know, with the help of Sand King and Shadow Shaman, be able to make any ganks. You don't want to make any. Don't let them get a quick one on anybody. So I feel like while it's important for them to continue to defend these lanes, they really need to group up here. Group up, get ready to defend some of these towers, because this Phantom Lancers is starting to get really big, and he's going to start pushing these towers, and there won't be much that Thunder can do if they don't effectively work together to combat it and just push it back.
I Annihilate also working towards the Diffuser Blade now. That's actually like... yeah, that's gonna be such a scary item. I mean, Ursa needs mana. Like, Ursa is one of those heroes where he doesn't really have mana problems, but that's just because he has the exact right amount of mana. Like, he has just as much as he needs. We're moving on a little bit, and all of a sudden he does actually have mana problems, right? So, the Diffuser Blade will be a problem there, the Diffuser Blade will be a problem with the Ember Spirit purging of his Flame Guard, and this is actually something I wanted to bring up earlier, but I sadly didn't get a chance to. So we'll just pretend I mentioned it earlier and that I actually made a few. It's fine.
Right.
Ember Spirit used to be considered very good against transformers. Right? He was kind of thought of as like somewhat of a counter. Ember Spirit does really well against transformers. Why that?
Right.
Because you get that with that material inside of this. You dealt well with a lot of units.
That's right. The Sleight of Fist was going to grab Phantom Lancer every time.
Yeah, not only that, but the cleave on all of the illusions. He just do massive damage to Phantom Lancer and all of his allies around. But we got a big fight first. Urza already going to be trapped inside of the wards. Uses his ultimate to get himself out of there, but he's kind of trapped in a bad spot now. Yeah, it's him versus 4. Nobody else around. The Reaper's Scythe takes him to whoever he's praying to. Bear goes down. And the rest of the team retreats.
And Searing Chains as well, it's not going to grab an illusion. It's always going to grab Phantom Lancer every time. And so that's something that he's going to have to be careful of later on in the game. Because he could be surrounded by 100 illusions, but that Searing Chain isn't going to grab any of them. It's only going to grab a hero.
No, that's actually not true. Sorry.
No?
I don't like calling you out like that.
No.
But Searing Chains just grabs a random target. It doesn't have any special rules when it comes to illusion, unless I really, I haven't got my mechanics right. But that's something I'm usually pretty good with. The Searing Chains just picks a random illusion. It can affect illusions pretty easily. So,
it says it grabs nearby enemies. So I'm assuming but nonetheless, the vacuum.
Enemies just enemy units. Like there can be an illusion. Like an illusion is an enemy. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, anyway, like the Ember Spirit was considered to be really good against Phantom Lancer, right? But not so much these days because the magic damage of Ember Spirit doesn't actually do that well against Phantom Lancer. However, Leo Style is saying, you know what? I don't have to build magic damage Ember Spirit. The 30 attack damage talent is level 10. It's actually really cool. It's a very, very good talent. 30 damage level 10 is amazing, right? Battle of Fury still exists. The old build is still here. It's still alright. It's not as good as the magic damage Ember. It's really just not. But it's not terrible either. And you can really go up against the Phantom Lancer like that. And I like that he's saying, you know what? The regular style just won't escape. We'll do something. Change it up and stick to what is going to work in this particular game. It's very smart. A lot of players do that, and I'm glad to see it. Now, hopefully it's going to work out for him. Right? I'm not sure if the Battle Fury build is, necessarily that effective, but it's cool to see that thought process going on, right? I think that's very exciting. Ursa also rushing BKB. No lifesteal on them. He doesn't have time for that.
If he does get the Heart of Tarask, which it doesn't look like he's anywhere close to it. In fact, in his quick buy,
smoke. They're gonna go for the Ursa. The strike. The Reapers. That's a dead air. You spawn is brought out as well. So a dark there. 2 heroes on and the push begins. Rasta wards are available. I'm sure if they'll use it for this though. At this point, they've got enough around to just go and take this tower, and then they can drop that big snake ultimate on the next Oh, this is looking scary. Again, the early aggression here. This is what they needed to worry about. And Ursa is just not in fighting shape. Ember Spirit is not in fighting shape. Like their cores are just not ready for this at this point. Shadow Shaman gonna go ahead and drop his ultimate. The push is on. The illusions are also helping a lot. The Fuse Blade coming out on the Ember. He is out of mana now. Although it seems that Real will settle for getting a little bit of damage in, feeding some wards in him.
So this gap is getting quite wide now with a 7k lead. I mean, Wheel sitting really good, almost getting up to 8,000 plus the XP. The levels are certainly getting out of reach. I mean, we see that Phantom Lancer now at level 15, and if they continue to let him build this momentum, I mean, Thunder's going to have a very big problem to deal with. They don't have an easy way to deal with the illusions. They certainly don't have the mobility that Wheel has at the moment. I mean, Ember Spirit does have boots of travel and can, transition to those lanes. But if he does that, Phantom Lancer is just going to teleport back to his team and, roll through the remaining Thunder players. So It'll be very curious to see what they do here. And that Aegis is certainly going to help Thunder in this case. While they shift gears to try to defend that top lane. But Wheel's still sitting in a good position at this point. They're feeling how this game has gone despite game 1 and 2.
I really like that shot sneak. Right, that was it'll be risky. If they get caught there, the game is over. It's just done. But, oh no! That's a dead Ember Spirit.
Yeah,
that is so bad. But
they put out those flames. Oh my goodness.
As I was saying, the Roshan sneak is so incredibly risky that I don't think we'll ever consider it. We're just like, no. And that's another kill. Clockwork goes down. He has added respawn time. They find Smash. Which is dead. Thinks in, and the burst strike immediately connects to 4-star. We'll push him around a little bit, but Jackals. Whreck's Aegis. He's online. He's going to save. In the meantime, Wards are just dying. Sand King comes forward. And purged up. Taking pass. But give them a chance to come in. Crushing them after the That was absolutely well done. Incredibly well done. This was just a matter of having a better strategy and executing it through and through. I wonder if they're going for a similar thing next game.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Radiant team ban.
Than the other two. And as such, I'm very interested in seeing whether or not tongue twister or if maybe this time around they want to go for something a bit more
Radiant team
conventional.
picked.
Our bans, we've got the Bat Rider and Puck, as well as a Night Stalker and a Kunkka. Night Stalker and Kunkka being banned out every single game. Puck as well, Bat Rider for most of them, I believe for 3 out of the 4. So the first 2 bans
10 seconds
going by
remaining.
really quickly. I'm actually surprised to see Thunder Awaken use
5
any
seconds
reserve time
remaining.
for this, but maybe they wanted to discuss if it is worth taking this risk again. Sand King coming out for Whreck while whistling. That's how this how the draft started last time too. If they want to repeat it, then it's gonna be the Shadow Shaman next. Thunder Awaken, of course, has an opportunity to snatch up the Shadow Shaman right now. An incredibly powerful hero. I would not be surprised to see it. Instead, they decide to go with the Zeus, as well as grabbing an Earthshaker. 2 heroes that can definitely fight well early on. So it seems they are trying to speed up their draft a little bit and make sure they are ready for this early aggression, if it comes to that again. Whreck while whistling now thinking, and I'm sure they're definitely considering that Shadow Shaman. Although, of course, against Earthshaker and Zeus,
5
that will
seconds
be a lot
remaining.
more difficult to pull off. Zeus, if he's played as the mid here, will be in a bit of trouble if it comes to actually surviving the ganks. But, well, that's what the Earthshaker's for. The backup is definitely capable enough to prevent any sort of surprises. We'll see how this goes down. Right now, a big point to consider is, will Whreck while whistling go for a similar draft again? They pick up a Queen of Pain. Definitely somebody that can fit into that kind of draft. We'll see if that is going to end up playing out in the same way. The Queen of Pain last time was used in the
10
offlane.
seconds remaining.
So offlane Queen of Pain is something we don't see too much of, but that was just to enable the
5
rest of the
seconds
draft, and it worked out
remaining.
pretty well. I wonder if we'll see a similar thing this match. And the interesting thing to note is that Thunder Awaken, they must be painfully aware that, yes, that is very similar to what we had before. So let's go ahead and make sure they don't pull the same shenanigans on us, and they ban out the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman now no longer available, and Shadow Shaman really has a lot of unique properties that make it very difficult for him to be replaced by a different hero.
10 seconds
The ban's
remaining.
now coming out for Whreck while whistling.
5 seconds remaining.
Something they may want to consider is, of course, banning out the early aggression style heroes that Thunder Awaken. Not early aggression, what am I saying? The mid-game aggression style heroes that Thunder Awaken like so much.
Radiant team ban.
TA definitely fits into that category, right? I expect the next ban to be something along the line of maybe getting rid of the Clockwork, or getting rid of what's his face? I'm sorry, please excuse me, it's so late for me. I know I
10
shouldn't keep using that
seconds
excuse,
remaining.
but it's still true.
No, it's all good.
Oh,
I need
you're
rest.
here now.
I need
Seconds
rest.
remaining.
You're here now. Well, that's nice. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of a hero name, but I'm struggling a little bit. Troll Warlord. There we go. Troll Warlord. Although he hasn't been very successful, he's definitely somebody that can be used for a lot of early aggression. Well then, Pete, glad to have you back. We're already a little bit into the draft. Shadow Shaman got banned out this time around, though.
I was lurking.
Yeah, Awaken is not willing to take a risk. And that seems pretty reasonable. It is.
No, you said it really well at the end of the previous game that he was worthy of MVP status, man. That they didn't like how quickly their towers were going down. That Shadow Shaman really forced them to have to zone them out of their own defensive posturing, and I mean that's not a position that they want to be in. May as well just get rid of them. Wheel used it really well in the previous game, and so these ban picks that are coming out now are certainly trying to ensure that they don't have an overarching something that can interrupt the team fight. Silence, or that global silence just devastates. Zeus really susceptible to that. He's just casting spells all game. That extra vision is a unique thing here that they'll have. Night Stalker, I'm waiting to see where Night Stalker's not going to get banned out from some of these games. It's surprising yet completely understandable why they want to take him out because of how early on, like you were saying earlier with the ban picks, looking to take out those heroes that were mid game. They're just completely overwhelming you. Night Stalker definitely falls into that category.
Storm Spirit.
Oh, interesting. Lots of
that worked really well for them. I mean, they had Storm Spirit in game 2, and he was big. He was unstoppable after a certain point. So
10 seconds.
Definitely a scary pickup here. Queen of Pain, of course, likes to buy Orchid though, and Queen of Pain can't fight him in the mid lane if this is a mid lane Queen of Pain. So we'll see how this works out. Storm is definitely a snowballing hero. He needs to do well, else he's just not that effective, right? There are other heroes, like I actually think Queen of Pain is a lot better in that regard. Even if she doesn't have a lot of money, she'll still be able to do quite a bit. But Storm he just can't. If he doesn't have money, he'll just be in a really bad spot.
I'm wondering if they're going to go with Lifesteal in this game to try to mitigate some of that burst damage from Zeus. And Nyx Assassin could certainly help deflect a good deal amount of damage.
They have a lot of vehicles for him.
Turn a fight. They do, yes, yeah, they do have a lot of heroes here that Lifestealer could just jump in.
10 seconds.
Why not? It seems like a good pick. I have a feeling Thunder might be able to read that. They seem very capable and might just ban him out on this last pick or this last ban pick that they have. But this is an opportunity where Wheel could pick him up or throw another support in there, or who knows? Maybe they want that Nyx or Sand King to be play more of a core role. It is nice. Or perhaps go with a Weaver. Go with something that certainly have some added durability plus a ranged DPS style.
I really like the Nyx here. He's gonna be so disruptive, right? Like, think about it. Zeus, lots of AoE damage. Earthshaker, lots of AoE damage. Storm, oh yeah, he does a lot of AoE damage too. Nyx can just run in there and stun them all up with her carapace. Easy peasy. He also burns mana, which is very handy against the Storm Spirit. So I actually think that's a really clever pickup here. That's going to work out really well for them. I do actually like that lifesteal. You brought that up, and I think it fits nicely. Yeah, Beastmaster Roar is annoying, but I feel like with some things, you just can't play around them. Like, how are you going to play around Roar? Which hero doesn't get roared? Well, there's not really anybody, right? So, Lifestealer seems pretty neat here. We'll see. He can also be played very aggressively. Oh, the Necrophos again. So this is really telling us that, yeah, you know what? We liked that push last game. Let's do that.
It worked for them. Why not?
Yeah. They don't have Shadow Shaman though. That's actually a really big deal. Like, the nice thing about Shadow Shaman, this is why he's so powerful. He can be a frontliner while being a support. Like just putting down those wards, that pushes a tower. There's not really another support that can do that. There's Jakiro, who would definitely work.
Venomancer could allow them to farm with some Plague Wards. Farm towers with Plague Wards.
Venomancer can do it a little bit, but it's not as effective because the wards actually just die really easily to the tower. So something they may want to consider here is putting that co-op offlane again and getting another hero for the mid. Like, for example, a Dragon Knight. You know, you go for that Dragon Knight, you get yourself a hood, you become
10
unkillable
seconds
because
remaining.
they just do not have enough damage, and then you push R and hit towers, and turns out
5
that kills them
seconds
pretty easily.
remaining.
You have a lot of backup with the Necroforce. The only problem I really see there is that, you know, Nyx Assassin and Sand King kind of have a difficult time ganking together. But by difficult time, I mean it's still perfectly doable. A little bit of a more out there strategy, so I don't really expect it, but it would be cool to see.
What do you think about that Dazzle pick? Do you think Wheel's looking
10
for another
seconds
support?
remaining.
No.
Here, I don't feel they're looking for a support, so that's not,
5 seconds
in my
remaining.
opinion, maybe not the best ban pick, but you know, maybe Thunder.
I don't think Dazzle fits into the lineup at all. Not necessarily
Yeah.
because they're not looking for support, but just because they don't have anybody that pushes right now, and they really need somebody that actually pushes. With their lineup,
they need
kill
something for
towers.
the late game.
Radiant team
No, they don't actually need late game at all.
Anti-mage.
Oh, well, never mind. They want some late game. Go be an anti-mage. Well, that works for sure. So it seems they want to go for like the early aggression with the 4 heroes, just like shutting down Thunder Awaken and then using the anti-mage in the late game to just finish it. But yeah, like I feel like they definitely had an opportunity to just say, you know what, we'll just end it in 20 minutes again. Right? That worked really well for us in game 3. Why not do
It
that
did.
again?
It did very
Yeah.
much.
So, but you know what, anti-mage, that's just saying, okay, we don't have a great
Wow.
frontliner, and they still don't. Oh, that Bloodseeker, that is actually gonna be a bit of a
Wow.
problem. Yeah, that's actually a
I mean-
pretty scary pickup here.
Good luck trying to get away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this. New
So
feature,
all anti-mage
jumping
really
in
needs to
these
do here
skins.
is buy an Evolence, and he'll be fine. But I don't expect we'll see that. Do you know that? Like, you can actually just like anti-mage, if anti-mage buys an Evolence, Rupture is actually doesn't do anything against them. It's kind of funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the way Rupture works is, if you traverse more than 1,300 units within one Rupture tick, then you don't actually take damage. Which is why Queen of Pain can actually, what she can do is she can
10 seconds
blink
remaining.
maximum range and then immediately shift Q movement, and she'll not take
5
damage for that
seconds
blink.
remaining.
Which is why Bloodseeker isn't actually that good against Queen of Pain. But Anti-Mage doesn't have a blink range long enough for that. But if he buys Evolence, he does. No, I don't expect to see an Evolence. A better alternative is to just get Aghanims, right? But it's still kind of a funny little thought, I think.
Yeah, these are definitely some unusual supports that they're picking, because I know Necrophos is going to be building. Perhaps they might force him into the into the mechanism and let Nyx Assassin.
No, the, KBH is playing Necrophos. He'll be playing the poor role. He'll be safe lane. You've got Ina Light on the anti-mage. He'll be going mid. Going up against Zeus. Actually, no, that's not a Zeus. That's a Storm Spirit mid. But that still works, right? There's a lot of magic damage there. Anti-mage is really good against magic damage. He'll be alright. He'll not be in a great spot, but he'll be in a fine spot. And yet again, Wheel using the Queen of Pain in the off lane, which is a really interesting strategy. We really don't see that a lot, but Wheel doing it for the second time in a row worked out last time. Like, that's all I gotta say about that, right? Like, it worked last time. Why not try it again? Somebody's really happy to paint on the map. But yeah, I think this is actually... Yeah, so Anti-Mage has 1150 blink range. You add the... How much does Evolence give? I think it's 200, right? 220 actually. So yeah, you add that on top, then he can just blink out of range of the Rupture. I mean, it's not really great, but yeah. Now, Anti-Mage is super good here, by the way. I want to just go and make that absolutely clear.
Yeah. Zeus is in trouble.
So good.
You know, basically all of their heroes. They're not going to be able to deal with any mage late game.
No.
This is not a late game lineup for Thunder at the moment, and Wheel, they will do a good job at buying themselves time. It'll be interesting to see how well this Zeus is able to burst down kind of like their weak points. Necrophos, a little susceptible, not entirely too squishy. He can heal himself up, but M-God will get that early fissure and chase around Mang over here on the dire side.
Oh, the Nyx Assassin probably doesn't even care. He's got so much natural health regeneration. This is just not even a big deal to him. There's actually something kind of funny about Nyx Assassins. They are so happy to trade hits this early on as long as there's no risk of them dying. Because it's just fine. they'll regen up, and the enemy team needs to use a little bit of healing. Like, they don't have the luxury of having 4 natural
30
health
seconds to
regeneration.
battle.
Are you insane? Nyx is really dumb sometimes. It's actually crazy. Bloodseeker coming in. No,
Yeah,
I'm actually
contesting these bounty runes is certainly an early advantage. It's going to be easy for them to find wards. Zeus opens up with the lightning bolt right away, and so they picked an assassin hero versus somebody who can reveal invis heroes, and so that does look like a one oversight for Wheel, and we'll see how they deal with that in the rest of the game.
Honestly, it should be alright. Like, even if a Nyx gets detected, usually, well, that means he has Vendetta active. He's got a lot of movement speed. You can use Spike Carapace while in Vendetta and not, break the Vendetta. So he can just run away and be fine. Yeah, he may not get a crazy amount of ganks in as a result. But honestly, he doesn't really need to. Like, as long as he's just keeping the Radiant side busy in any sort of way and buying time for the anti-mage, they're going to be in a good spot. Now, it's actually going to be
keeping the stuns going for sure.
Yeah, Queen of Pain is going to be the safe lane here. They've got a Burst Strike coming in on the Earthshaker. They'll not be able to connect with that Impale, though. He's sadly a little bit too far away. For all the Lightning Bolt, Derp should absolutely be fine, though. Necroforce now coming top, and the other two going to the bottom. So I was actually wondering about this. Like, it seems they wanted to try and out mind game Thunder again, and just say, hey guys, we know which lanes you're doing. We're gonna put the Bloodseeker into the top lane instead of the bottom lane, and we're gonna put our Necroforce in the other lane just to make sure we get some money. But turns out, no, Thunder decided to just put the Bloodseeker bottom.
Everyone loves
Radiant's
an
bottom
upset.
tower is under attack.
They do. Well, they at first glance hate it, but it's still fascinating nonetheless to see this anime try to go toe-to-toe with Leo Styles.
Well, this is really actually a perfectly doable matchup, funnily enough. Like, it's not something you think of as oh my god, Anti-Mage beats Storm, and I wouldn't say Anti-Mage does beat Storm. But Storm just struggles to deal damage to him. And if he ever gets an attack range, which is very likely to happen, Storm does not have a lot of attack range. Only 480, very low movement speed against Anti-Mage's very high movement speed, right? At this point, Anti-Mage is already outclassing him by 30. And also, by the way, I'm sorry, me missed Smash dying at the bottom lane. In the meantime, we've got Derp dying at the top lane, so we call it that one. But it's, not a huge deal, just 2 supports being taken out. But yeah, those 30 movement speed right now make it really difficult for Leostar to run away. Anti-Mage even picking up an overspell on. And if he gets hit by the Anti-Mage, he's taking massively more damage than he can do to him. And he cannot ever possibly just stand this fight. It's actually a really difficult situation to be in. You can see Annihilate really playing incredibly aggressively, utilizing his higher mobility, his higher damage output.
Yeah, I like the dancing that's happening between the two mid lane. Annihilate doing a great job at getting in a couple of hits. His passive burning away the mana on Storm Spirit, making it difficult for him to get the static remnants out.
Down at the bottom
as well.
I'm sorry, Bloodseeker gonna be ganked right here, and this is an important kill. Thunder on the retreat. He's tanky, but he's not tanky enough. Derp ends up taking that kill, and that is really good for Wheel, right? They gotta shut down this Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is gonna be important here, and without him, I don't really see what Thunder can do to beat this Anti-Mage. Like, the Bloodseeker was picked specifically to deal with Anti-Mage because he does actually have some good tools for that. Lots of pure damage, of course, the Rupture is huge, but he simply, if he's shut down early, he won't be able to do enough to stop Annihilate from simply, well, annihilating. Get it? Sorry.
Pun intended, man. It was a great one.
Absolutely. So clever. So clever.
If you didn't say it, I was going to say it. So it needed to be said. Anyway, Beastmaster looks like he could be in trouble. Smash getting that stun.
Oh, TP out. It's funny, going up against heroes with like 7 stuns between them combined, but they end up using all of them at once, and so he just gets on. But sometimes you gotta hold them back a little bit, Make sure he doesn't just TP away. And now they put Van up at the top lane. That's actually something like Van hasn't been having a great game in like any of these matches. Like the poor safe lane Gary is just struggling a little bit. Annihilate now getting to the stage where the Storm has become a little bit more powerful, right? Like at this point at level 5 or so, the magic damage from Storm ends up being quite a bit, and so even an anti-mage can't just safely tank this. But at the same time, he doesn't need to. Like, he's just sitting back now, right? At this point, he's established enough of an advantage to be fine. Just getting a little bit more regeneration. As is, by the way, an important thing if you want to do this kind of thing. Do not be afraid to buy additional regeneration, right? People usually think the only time you're allowed to buy regeneration is at the start of the game. That's nonsense. Get the Annihilate. Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, that just happened. Leo style
I thought that was
manages
just a storm.
he manages to avoid death, and the 3 go down with the help of the fissure. That fissure was so well timed, and Token got in there right when they needed him.
That was crazy. I can't believe that happened. I'm actually...
Yeah, that was stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Actually baffled. Also, Sue's not using the optimal way to use a shrine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Did you know that the pros are using shrines and mana boots wrong? There's a better way to do it. But... yeah, so, okay. This is
Do
gonna be
share,
really,
mate. Do
really
share.
boring mechanics talk. And it's like, literally, you're making a difference of like 2 seconds. But still, bear with me. So what people do is they put boots into the backpack or on the ground while using a shrine, right? And then, you know, they activate the shrine, maximize mana and all of that. What they should be doing is they should disassemble the mana boots. If you disassemble the mana boots, you put the mana boots in the backpack. No, not the mana boots. You put the energy booster into the backpack. Then you still have your boots while being next to the shrine healing up. Your mana pool is still minimized. You do not have the risk of getting yanked and getting, you know, losing the boots because you put them on the ground. And also, if you then just reassemble them afterwards, the cooldown penalty in the backpack, because if your mana boots are on cooldown, you put them into the backpack, they have a penalty, right? They cool down slower. That does not actually take place. That cooldown just ticks regularly as long as one part of the boots is still in the regular inventory. So it's just better in every single way. But people don't do it because they don't know about it. But that's it. It's not really, like, it's really not a big difference. Like, it makes a very, very tiny difference of, like, again, about 2 or 3 seconds of additional cooldown on the mana boots, or just being able to be a little bit faster if something happens around the shrine. And frankly, if you are certain that nothing will happen around the shrine and nothing happens around the shrine, you might as well just put them on the ground. It's just as good. But there are situations where this is just, like, mildly better. It's an optimization. But, you know, if you're playing for money, you want to optimize, right? You may have noticed I care about mechanics. I find them very interesting. So, now that I have bored him to death, let's go ahead and take a quick look at our Queen of Pain here. She's been forced to rotate a lot, so her farm isn't excelling. She's doing alright though. In the meantime, KVH and the Necrophos also are kind of doing fine enough. And there's actually an important note here. Wheel has the Radiant Side.
The ruptured bottom.
Yep. Vicky taking a lot of damage. Drops the Reaper Scythe, and this is really good for him. That gives him a lot of healing. It's gonna allow him to stay in here. Rupture now running out. He's gonna throw out another heal really quick. That's gonna connect on Van. But Necrophos should end up being fine. Magic Wand back online, and yes, he is in a good spot now, right? This is really quite nice for him. Being able to sustain himself in this lane, also now making good progress towards his mecha. And this is actually something that KBH seems to like, you know, getting mecha in both of the games we saw him play. It's reasonable enough. It's a strong item on Necro. I always like seeing an early Blink Dagger, but I definitely agree with not getting it this game. Against the Bloodseeker, it's not going to be very effective.
Yeah, you're right. That Bloodseeker did a really good job finding that target on the Necrophos. They opened up on him, and then just unfortunately his teammate came in to try to provide some support. You know, you're going to get brutalized. They're going to take advantage of him. But mid lane, anyways, could be in trouble.
No, Anti-Mage is dead. Yep. And this is exactly why Bloodseeker is good. Right? You rupture him. Okay, he can't blink anymore. Well, he could, so then he dies. Then you silence him, and then it's like, oh, you literally can't blink anymore. Now you don't even have the option. And then you just kill him. That's kind of a big deal. And this is exactly why they picked the Bloodseeker, and this is why it's important that the Bloodseeker does well for them. Right, if this Bloodseeker does actually get some money going on here, get some levels, most importantly, then they'll be in a really, really good spot. They can actually definitely just snowball with that hero.
Yeah. Anti-Mage certainly has a weak point, and Van now at level 7. He's going to continue to roam back and forth from these lanes. You know, Bloodright will help ensure that the blink, that he doesn't still try to blink away even though he has Rupture on him. So it's going to be a delicate situation. Annihilate will have to play a little safe. He is leveling up faster than everyone else on his team. Storm Spirit just hanging in there slightly over Annihilate, but it's still Anti-Mage has enough of a lead over the rest of Thunder's team that if he continues this farm, he's already holding on to a ring of health. His finished boots. 300 gold into already his Battle Fury. If they give him this farm and they let him continue this way, then he'll be level 12 in no time and already have level 2. But Innovate's top lane, risky in trouble. They're going to continue chasing Xeno King in behind the Dire side. He's not going to get away with that Mana Void, blowing him up into smithereens. But the bottom tower with the rotation moving in, the Nyx is going to try to keep some of this creep wave off the tower. The help of these boars from Beastmaster certainly does help keep that lane pressure up nice and strong.
Yeah, that was a really strong rotation into that object. Also like that they're using that Anti-Mage, They're not just putting him into a lane to farm, they're saying, hey, we need you to be active, right, and actually go for some kills. And Anti-Mage is actually surprisingly good at that. You would think that he's just this like really static carry that just needs a lot of items. But he does do a good chunk of damage early on, especially once he's level 12.
Yeah,
that ultimately works. Also like seeing the early threats on him. A lot of Anti-Mages these days, they just go brown boots into Battle Fury. But right here in a game like this, you gotta be ready to fight, you gotta be strong, right? So what I want to see from him, right, get those threats going into the Battle Fury, into Vladimir's. And Aghanims is really something that is actually really amazing. So I think that could be reasonably effective this game as well. There are a lot of things you want to block, and Manta Style is of course going to be necessary. Just Manta Style doesn't really work. In the meantime, we've got a fight at the bottom. Derp derp. Gonna be going on the sand. No, thank you. Earthshaker. There we go. Sorry. In the meantime, they go ahead and actually work on Bloodseeker as well. Bloodseeker ends up dropping Smash now next in line, but it seems that Smash will end up being fine. Why not make it rhyme? We've got the Anti-Mage also being involved in that, and again, I like that. I think that's really important. A lot of teams would just say, hey, you know what, you just go do your thing, try to fight 4 versus 5. But no, they're saying, you can be in here, we want you in here, you can be here. Another thing that is like really telling there is him picking up the 150 additional health at level 10. Right? Getting additional survivability just to enable this early fighting. Now I've got another little encounter at the bottom. Fisher comes out, Quap taking quite a bit of damage, but she'll just be able to blink away. Should be good. And, oh, they scan out Mad. That's actually really well done. They still know he's here. I assume that's a Radiant scan. Yeah, that's a Radiant scan.
Yeah, enemies now level 12. Widening the gap between himself and the enemy players. So that roar's gonna open him up.
Dead. He goes down quite quickly. Stormstone now taking a lot of damage. Gets the protection from the Bloodseeker. That big Bloodright. Blink not ready on Blood of the 2. He's hiding. He's hiding. He does have an ultimate. Does he use it? And there it goes. Gets a quick kill. The Reaper side finishes off the rest. Leo Star now going to be forced to bowl away, but Mad is here. And Mad, well, you guessed it. He is upset at this situation. Gonna go out and try to get Leo Star. Hits him with that Impale. The Death Pulse finishes him off. And with that, that's a double kill on the Necrophos. Very well done. He managed to turn it around quite nicely. Still lose Anti-Mage and Queen of Pain. And that is not good. But they did also kill the Storm Spirit and the Bloodseeker. So it kind of evens out, and a lot of kills on the Necro, right? And Necro is starting to get powerful. It's about to finish up his mecha and already working on his Pipe side. And I think the Pipe is an excellent choice. Exactly what he needs to go for.
Great fissure to lock in Ricky. Have to take the long way to get around the tower, plus those those lane minions. Just delaying beating on the tower, but this Nyx for an opening.
Oh, they'll definitely get the Zeus. M-God is down here as well, and that's another kill. I want to
Things
quickly
starting
point
to
out
fall apart for Thunder.
Yeah, I quickly want to point out that KDH, what he's doing, every time he gets a kill, he pushes W, activates a Ghost Shot. It's important to do that if you're playing Necrophos, because that really amplifies the healing a lot, and that makes it so that he actually, you know, gets to sustain himself forever, which is the biggest strength of this hero, right? That's what Necrophos does. He just keeps going forever. And so having that amplified healing is incredibly important. It's also by something as simple as a Magicon is a core item on a Necrophos. And what you'll see a lot of Necrophoses do is they'll just run around with the Magicon, wait until it's at 17 charges, and then with the Ghost Shroud in the middle of the fight, it heals like 50% of his life and mana. It's incredibly effective. That's something that really allows him to just come back into it and keep fighting. Those kind of small things are why this hero can be incredibly powerful. I really like Necrophos.
Yeah, it's great. Pierce's spell immunity. He can get in and absorb physical damage by using Ghost Shroud, amplifying his magic damage in addition to avoiding, and high sustainability overall. The AoE Heartstopper, I mean, all around great hero. Fairly low on the HP pool, which is
we've got a jump. They're gonna go in on Mad. First, they want the co-op though, and they'll get the co-op. Oh, Roar coming out on KBH, but he does have the Ghost Shot active, so he's still protected. Mecha, ready. Magicon, ready. Gonna heal him up as much as possible. It's still taking a lot of damage. The sounds, the Necrobook actually kind of slowly killing him. For the time being, he'll still be alright though. And sadly, the Sand King is gonna have to pay the ultimate price for that one, but definitely the right call. You would much rather sacrifice the Sand King than the Necrophos right here. In the meantime, Anti-Mage coming in from behind. He gets the Zeus. A few more right clicks on Ban, but then he settles to go for the Storm Spirit instead. Lots of mana available on him though. He'll just be able to sap away. And actually talking about mana, Anti-Mage running a little bit low. They do catch the Earthshaker M-God. Gonna be Reaper Scythe here, and Necrophos all the way back to full HP and mana after that one. Yeah, Necro is actually starting to become a real problem. They can't kill him quickly enough. It's bad news. Really bad news. Something that I actually want to see from this Necro, by the way, Guardian Grace. Like, you gotta get some early Guardian Grace. Usually you wouldn't go for that, but he does have mana boots, he does have mecha, and he does allow him to purge out of the silence from the Bloodseeker, which is kind of really important, right? If he gets silenced, he's in a lot of trouble. He doesn't mind being ruptured so much because a Necrophos can just like hold position and be fine. But being silenced is a lot worse. You want to avoid that at all costs. In the meantime, we've got Mad just roaming around. Nyx Assassin hasn't really had a huge impact in terms of like yanking, but he's mostly just centered his attention. Being around for... Well, let me rephrase that. There's not a huge impact in terms of like going into the enemy jungle and finding solo kills and stuff like that, or not even just solo kills, but setting up those rotations. But what he has been doing is just been running around with the Sand King and being in fights, and that is already plenty to justify the hero, as well as the mana burn at the latest stage. Sand King, not even close to his Blink Dagger, actually. That's kind of unfortunate. He is the position 5 here. We'll probably not see a Blink Dagger anytime soon. And to mention, in the meantime, he finished up his battle field working on the Lincoln. Not a big fan of that. Personally, I think Aghanim's is just better. But, I don't know. Better effect. It's all around better, no? A lot of players tend to forget about that's actually one of those items you don't see often at all, so sometimes, you know, you get too stuck in the tunnel vision of I want Lincolns, and that is the only option I've got. Trying to think of a reason why you would want Lincolns, but like its stats are worse. Like it costs more money. I mean, unless you really want a regeneration.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, Wheel are really taking advantage of this Animage momentum. They're going to give him plenty of space if they continue to be aggressive and let him farm. He can join the fight at any time. Annihilate, purely unafraid in most of these engagements. You know, and Thunder just losing player after player. If there's certainly a chance for Thunder to turn things around, they're gonna have to really buckle down and let this Earthshaker get his Blink Dagger, be ready for those Echo Slams, and they're still at least 5 or 6 minutes away before that even comes online.
I'm really worried for them at this point. I mean, Anti-Mage is just like, this is really Anti-Mage. Leading network, leading levels, free map to farm. Nobody here to challenge him. Doesn't get any better than that. At the same time, you know, Necrophos is getting money. The Queen of Pain has a Yules working towards BKB. And the Bloodseeker going towards like picking up a Shadow Blade. Odd choice, to say the least. I don't know. Like, I guess he wants to maximize his initiation. But
bottom tower is under attack.
yeah, this is actually just looking very, very bad for Thunder here.
Radiant's bottom
Storm Spirit,
tower has
he
fallen.
only has a Bloodstone. Zeus. Or stuff. Like, there just aren't any items that are like, he's gonna beat him.
This is really looking like it's gonna go to Game 5.
Yeah.
And I mean, Wheel really surprising me. I think it's surprising a lot of people who are watching what's happening right now, because the Animage pickup certainly wasn't expected for him to go mid lane. Certainly wasn't expected for them to, you know, shift gears here in lane. And despite Bloodseeker, you know, getting those early pickoffs, you know, he's still only level 13. He's still quite a ways behind, 5 levels behind Animage. That's not a matchup that he wants to get caught in. And in fact, you know, Animage has even widened his gap even further. And this Nyx Assassin looks like he's trying to chase down M-God. He wants to find out where he's going.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Funny how both the Earthshaker and the Sand King are nowhere near Blink Dagger. Oh, never mind, Diptip has actually found a lot of I'm assuming a hidden stash in the jungle. Oh, we've got a jump on Mad. Mad is dead. Instantly, no chance. Dip also going to be going down.
He just wanted to help. That's all he did, and made himself a victim. A good pickup of the Necro Book. I think this could help, certainly, at least prevent them from getting opened up by the Assassinate. And so
that's really like the one big thing they got going on, right? That Necro Book, that is an item that really, at this point, like almost represents the power of a hero. Like, it's almost that strong. So they're actually going to use this to go in and apply a little bit of pressure on the tower. It's a very reasonable thing to do here. Okay, with the protection active, they'll just retreat. But it's still one of those things where it's just like, yep, this is the one tool you have at the moment that will really allow you to maybe win a fight. You have the Necrobook free online, Rapture the Anti-Mage, and pray that it works out from there.
Invisibility.
So we're getting close to 24 minutes in now.
Really don't
and
like that,
Wheel's really, they've expanded their net worth for sure, and the XP gain as well. It's just soaring in direction for for them to continue this shit and win. And I mean, this game certainly has been one of the weakest plays for Thunder so far. I mean, while it's not a massive gap between the two, it's just Thunder really look like they're struggling to keep up with the pace of Wheel.
It's being outdrafted in the previous game and this one too. It's too much. Like, they definitely have the potential to just straight up outplay Wheel. They did that in the first 2 games. They just played better. Like in those first 2 games, Thunder was the better team. But right now, their draft just does not hold up. It does not stand up against this power. And it's just looking worse and worse. Like every minute that passes in this game, it's turning this into more of a problem for the Radiant side. Because the anti-mage is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So does Lincoln's now. Which, while I may not agree with, I do agree with the choice of getting a Lincoln's effect, and it is going to be good. Right, it's going to make it so that the bot seeker can't just catch it. Now the Manta style up next, which is the right choice. That's what he should be going for. I assume a Basher afterwards, and he's gonna be in great shape. Absolutely fantastic. But we gotta roam, we've gotta jump. KVH gonna be pulled in. The silence comes out after the stuns. The Necroforce almost certainly gonna drop right here. It goes down to Leo Star. In the meantime, the Sand King tries to maybe stop this from happening, but he will not be able to do so. Losing the Necroforce like that, that is definitely what they need here. Oh, well, that's definitely what the Radiant needs here. Kind of turned them into one team for a second. It's been a few games. At this point, I'm so familiar with all of these players.
Yes.
We've just become one big family. I'm gonna go ahead and take down the mid tower.
Middle tower has fallen.
Animate's going to continue to be presenting an issue for these lanes. Yeah, he's going to continue to push these lanes out.
Your favorite
now,
strategy?
Manta style picked up now. That's going to be on the way.
Favorite strategy, the whole split pushing thing. Oh yeah. But catches him out anyway. Pushes his Q, pushes the Q. But Anti-Mage just fighting. Didn't drop the ultimate in time. Could have definitely tried to get a kill right there, but I assume he had resigned his life at that point. That was really good. Good reaction from the Bloodseeker too, knowing, yep, he's got himself an Aghanim's. Not an Aghanim's Infants. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to cancel that and then apply the Rupture, and that's the problem Anti-Mage faces here, right? Like, that Rupture simply locks him in place and he can't do anything anymore. Matt?
Yeah.
More than Matt.
I'm thinking that Lincoln Sphere would have been better suited for somebody else, but here, this Epicenter, he interrupted it completely.
Look at Emgard, he's just fighting. He's not scared. The Zeus ultimate. They get the nukes. Now Derp is on his own. Actually, no longer. Queen of Pain is here. She throws up the Earthshaker. He's still looking pretty alright. He should be able to get home. And now Bloodseeker chasing down the Queen of Pain. Gets her. And the Storm finishes off the Sand King.
Oh, woohoo. I think... Oh, I want to push this button so bad, but that was one hell of a play.
Not quite.
He actually balled lightning in. All right, I'm going to do it. It's well played. Well, Storm Spirit started from bottom rune, balled lightnings in, managed to pick off Sand King, and then follows up and gets Queen of Pain immediately after it over by the secret shop. She was getting ready to teleport back. No way of escaping that one. And so with 20 charges on Bloodstone, I mean, Thunder still presents an opportunity here. They can silence Anti-Mage, they can keep him from blinking away, they can pop that Lincoln Sphere, and so we may see a big fight here bottom.
No, they are actually in a fantastic spot now. It's not so much because they have found a way of dealing with the Anti-Mage, right? Like, this was always available. The counterplay that's going on here with, like, Lincolns, and then you use the Bloodseeker Q, and then you use the ultimate and all of that. All players in this match knew that long before the game even started. But thanks to these fights, something else has changed. The supports are now weaker than the rest of the team. Like, the enemy supports now no longer can keep up with the Radiant side. Looks Assassin gonna be caught out, and he goes down. And because of that lack of ability to actually you know, fight the enemy team. Wheel is now in a spot where they can just, you know, force fight. Oh, well, Thunder. See right there. Block it. On he goes.
Yeah, this is where things are starting to fall apart for Wheel, and so yeah, as much as we can hope that Wheel's going to rely solely on the anti-mage, the rest of their team is really starting to fall behind. They're getting caught in situations that are really difficult to get away from. Vortex grabbing on, Necrophos can't really, you know, when he tries to use Ghost Route, he's going to take additional magic damage through that, but you know, he will be able to slip through some of that physical damage, but it doesn't mean he's completely immune to what this Storm Spirit can do. And now holding on to an Aegis, this is really adding an extra layer onto their ability to just roll through Wheel.
By the way, I think I figured out why I Annihilate went for Lincolns over Axe. There is a reason, and I think I figured it out. Because if he gets Aghanims, right, he reflects the spell. So Bloodseeker comes in, uses his Q on the Anti-Mage. Now Anti-Mage reflects that with the Aghanim, and now Bloodseeker has his damage enhanced. And then he just ruptures the Anti-Mage anyway, and at that point the rupture actually deals more damage, and the Anti-Mage is doing even more of a terrible spot. So that could be why I Annihilate chose to go for the Lincolns over the Aghanims, you know, just saying, yeah, I mean, the Lincoln's effect is strictly speaking usually more powerful. Most of the time, that's just a better effect, but if they play around it, I'm actually screwing myself a bit. I'm just gonna go with the safer option. Well, it's kind of interesting like that. Well, the job there now. Scout out the Nyx. Stop forward, gem available. Oh, and they find him. Matt is found. Oh, he's not going to be happy about this one. Nyx Assassin goes down. That's another Bloodstone charge for the Storm Spirit. Now sitting at a solid 47 mana regeneration. Meantime,
I'm just very surprised that he was able to find him like he did. I mean, he was able to just scout him. He probably spotted him on that ball lightning where he shot above him and was able to spot him kind of blinking downward. But man, what an excellent play. I was just very impressed so far with Leo's style. He's playing absolutely stellar. Yeah, 24 charges now on his Bloodstone. I mean, there's a lot of added momentum here that he's creating for his team. I would be careful of him. Leo's style is definitely a force to be reckoned with right now.
BKB online. He's incredibly scary. With that BKB, they actually have nothing to stop. Like, he's now But talking about taking on the Anti-Mage, maybe not like this, my friend. He's gonna activate the BKB and zap away. In the meantime, M-God coming in, and Leo Star is here. He gets one kill before going down. Actually, still alive, still alive. Finally ends up dropping. Goes down to the Necrophos Aura. Necrophos gonna be taken down by Leo Star somehow. Well, in the meantime, we've got him sapping forward. Well, he's fast too. You can't blink, but I can fly. Nonetheless, I Annihilate. It's a little bit too scary for him to commit to that.
For a second there, I thought I spoke too soon when he teleported into the top tier 1 and they opened up on him, the stuns. I mean, he was able to ball lightning to safety and use the BKB, come follow up again and return to the fight. But man, I thought I was going to have to eat my words there.
That was a really, really scary fight for both sides. But yet again, Thunder coming out ahead. And this is something we saw in the first 2 games, right? Like, it seems like Thunder, they're just better at these kinds of fights. Like, this is what happened in the first 2 matches, where they just had good fights in the mid game and then won. And what's happening in this game? Well, Thunder has good fights in the mid game and they are starting to win. This is really something I thought Wheel was trying to avoid. Like, that's what they did with that Game 3 draft. But now it's just starting to look really grim for them. And Anti-Mage is still strong, don't get me wrong. But he's just not able to go 1 versus 5, and the rest of his team does not keep up with his farm at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, getting grouped up like this might be a good idea for Wheel if they can just move together as a unit, focus some of these towers down. Anti-Mage, he doesn't have boots of travel, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to get it at this point. Do the split push, add some pressure from the 4-1 sequence there if they can stay alive somewhat. But what the hard part is on this one is Anti-Mage, I don't think he feels, or I don't think that Annihilate feels confident that his team is going to survive facing against all 5 of Thunder. It's just a difficult situation to be in. That Echo Slam can certainly devastate them, and I'm not so sure that Anti-Mage can do the base race and win that. At least he won't be able to do it alone.
Yeah, he is pretty much alone in this game. Like, that is actually, like, that is the real problem, right? Like, it's a team game. It was just about who gets the most money. Anti-Mage is winning that fight, but he's not winning the actual fight. It just comes down to his team, right? Look at the net worth. 21,000 on the Anti-Mage. The next highest on his team is the Queen of Pain with 11,000. She's 10,000 gold behind him. 10,000. And there's 3 enemy heroes in between that gap. That matters. That matters so much. You gotta get money on your supports. Talking about your supports. The Nukes and Sanking, they got nothing. They got a Blink Dagger each, and that's where it ends. On the other side, you've got Zeus. He's sitting on a comfortable 4-star, finishing up his Yules, has an Equivalence, right? You've got the Earthshaker. Got his Blink Dagger, of course, but, you know, okay. He doesn't have that much, since he's been warding mostly, but nonetheless. This is going to be difficult. It's going to be really, really difficult. I would like to see Thunder try to force something, though. They've been rather held back. They have been taking individual fights, and then just happily going back to farm. While they're winning these fights, eventually Anti-Mage will start taking over again. He almost has an Abyssal Blade. Abyssal Blade is a huge pickup. Stops this game from running away. Also, may I just quickly take about 50 minutes to rant about how much I hate that minus 50 seconds mana void cooldown? So bad. It's so bad. When do you use Anti-Mage up? At the end of the fight, right? Oh shit, he's dead. He's gonna go out and just jump him.
They waited.
Unfortunate, Nuke's gonna be going down as well. Fisher makes sure he doesn't TP home. Anti-Mage is dead for 90 seconds, no buyback available. He just finished up this play. No buyback for 90 seconds. And the thing is, you cut out 22,000 net worth from the Dire side. They have nothing. They have nothing. This could be a game-ending push if the Radiant actually goes for it. And they should. You can see it all moving into the mid. Storm sapping forward. Oh, you know, it's better than to fully commit to that Necro. So he decides to go for the Sanking instead. Running a little bit short on mana at the moment, but the push at the top. Still got a full minute to go.
Yeah, with a little under a minute left for Anti-Mage. Certainly the rest of the teammates from Wheel, they're going to be desperate to try to protect these buildings. They're certainly capable of doing so, but it's just with all 5...
The roar! They gotta go in on the Necrophos. Nice burrow strike from the Sanking. Making sure he's at least a little bit protected. Queen of Pain also throwing down a big Sonic Wave, but it's just not enough. If KBH dies here, that's a big deal. But down he goes. They're gonna get mad too. Derp trying to fight. Oh, Derp is gonna be dying. We've got a buyback available on the Sanking. Anti-Mage is gonna be back in a second, but losing all of those heroes. Should have just sacrificed the barracks instead. Thunder now just going for the Ancient. The buyback coming out. It's going to be Derp and Anti-Mage against 4. Not impossible, but it's impossibly difficult. Oh, actually, he's the chance already. And so Derp. He's going to be to the side. Keeping Van busy. Got an Annihilate jumping in. He's losing a lot of HP. Goes to the Shrine. Now ready to fight. Goes down. GG scored. Yes. Thunder. Going to be your KOD, Kings of Dota, the League Champions 2017 Thunder Awaken take it. They take the prize pool. They take the pride, and they take the ability to claim that they have beaten Wheel, which not a lot of teams can. That was incredibly well done, impressive through and through, and they really showed that as long as it just comes to straight up fighting,